My?
I was like, what are these sounds? Is that my?
Okay. Shut up, Harrison. Shut up, Harrison. Oh, aw. Alright, fellas.
Welcome to another episode of the Group Up Podcast. We're here for the great...
Whoa. Let's do it on 1x.
tank debate. I've got an incredible lineup of tank players and one imposter sitting with me here, ready to talk about the state of tanks and the hot topic issue of why nobody wants to play tank
23 hours?
anymore.
Holy shit.
Last week we had a lengthy debate where Samito and Hawk argued that it was largely down to 6v6 and the removal of 6v6 for 5v5. But we'll see what these guys have to say. So let's introduce my guest in the bottom right, the most handsome hog main around, and there's not many, to be honest. It is Unsalted Salt. What's up, man?
Hey guys, I'm happy to be here. I got some interesting.
I love how happy Spilo always looks. Spilo is he's just a happy guy. He's just
You've never
enjoying
done that
life.
interesting takes. Every time you've been on the podcast, it's always left
10 out of 10
some ripples in its way.
I'm really happy
Let's see what
Spilo's
Salt is
finally on
cooking this
episode.
time. In the top right, it's a very handsome call. I think everyone will agree. Looking
Handsome
with his
call.
new stash, I love the look. Yeetle, what's up, man?
Yo, what up? I've got some somewhat neutral, lukewarm takes, but I think I also got some spicy ones. So, what up?
I'm looking forward to what he's got. In the bottom left, our last traditional tank main, coming heated, he says, is my man Flats. Flats, what's up?
Hello.
Been a while, buddy. How you doing?
What's he talking like
I'm
that?
doing all right. This season's been very interesting, so I'm sure we'll have lots to talk about.
Oh, it has been. Interesting is one way to describe it. It's lots always cooking. Lots is cooking these days. Gone are the days where nothing was happening in Overwatch. Some shit is always going down these days, which is at least a different world we live in. And finally, to round us off, in the top left, the coach himself, the expert on everything coming to Overwatch. It's my man Spilo.
Really?
Spilo, what's up?
Doing all right. I feel like this is like a joke, you know, a ball main, a roadhog main, a Reinhardt main, and a dwarf coach walk into a bar.
Exactly what
Doing
happens.
fine.
We'll find out. Thanks for joining me. All right, guys, let's kick into it. To start us off, then, we're just going to do touch base with each of you. Give me a couple sentence summary of where you stand in the state of tank at the moment, because I want to know what the feelers are. I want to know roughly what you guys are thinking. So we'll start with Salt, who said he has some interesting takes. Salt, just a couple sentences, your summary of like state of tank, and if there's any particular tanks you think are, you know, outliers, whether that's in a bad way or a good way, let me know.
Well, I'm on the fence that tank is the worst role in the game, and that. I mean, you could argue, yes, Orisa's good, but that's all we ever get. Every season, every tank is bad. You get one tank that's good. You play it. We have to go through it for 2 months with the same shit. The other tank doesn't die. You don't die, and it's just horrible. But I'm on the wayside that tank is the worst role in the game.
Okay, great start. All right, I'm going to take it to Flats next. Flats, tank is the worst role in the game. Agree, disagree? Just your summary.
Great start.
We'd probably disagree on the reasons, but I'll agree with the take. I do think it's
Bro.
the worst, but I mean, it depends on what you mean by subjective. The worst, like, is it the worst to play? Is it the least fun? Is it the least impactful? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's different things to talk about there. I don't think we'd probably agree on all of it. My overall feeling is the balanced philosophy of how to deal with tanks is fundamentally
all
very
that
flawed.
effort.
And DPS and support very clearly have like much more fun and things seem to be more options to them, but the amount of the lack of, I guess, mistakes you're allowed on tank is unbelievably insane compared to the other two roles. It makes it miserable, and I think that mostly
Didn't I
comes
just
down to
move
balance
that?
first
Wait,
in.
what?
I like it. All right, Yeetle, give us the third tank take.
Hold on.
I also don't think it's a format issue. I think it's a balance issue. I think tanks are there's a lot of things in the game going into 5v5 that are a bit broken, and it's hard to outplay them as tank. And I feel like in Overwatch 1, there was more outplayability. So my take is that the problem with tank.
I think I've cleared out the
also
entire
is
crutch.
balance.
Let me just go take a long
But
rest.
you also agree that it's kind of not
Just
in a
in
fun
case.
space.
Yes, for sure.
Okay,
Because
so
we
not,
are
not very
low
happy
health,
chappies here,
and-
Spilo. How about you as someone more objective observer?
Are we
What's
low
your
resources?
assessment on the state of
I
tank?
guess, kind of. Not
I
really.
think tank, especially with
We're just low
5v5,
health. I
is
don't wanna sit here
objectively
and
the role
spam
that has to
potion
deal
all
with
day.
the worst of whatever Overwatch has to offer, whether that's the crowd control or the balance, as was brought up. So it's whether it's going to be the most effective or least effective, it's always going to feel the worst. And that leads to my second point, which is tank right now suffers from the indirect value problem, where you can get a lot of value out of tank, but it doesn't feel very fun to do your job a lot of the time.
Oh
as
my
tank.
God, Jesus.
It feels a lot worse from Overwatch 1. And I think the problem is, how are we going to be able to fix that? Tank is an extremely effective role, I think, at the highest level, but it doesn't always feel like that. And I think that's what makes the role difficult to play.
I like it. I like it. Lots to unpack here already. From my POV, I've been playing tank for a couple of weeks. And
Dude, I don't know if I want to continue with the monk. I actually don't even think the monk is that fucking good. Yeah. Give me it. Give it to me. Wow, nat 1. I guess we're not getting it. Ooh. Eee. Cute doggy. Potion of healing. Yeah, I don't know if I want to continue with the monk. Let me look up like monk in Baldur's Gate 3. I mean, I unlocked 2 more things here. If you were okay, so stillness of mind, you get at level 7. If you are charmed or frightened, you automatically cast stillness of mind to remove the condition. How often can you cast it though? Like, that's a cool thing, but evasion. Your agility lets you dodge out of the way of certain spells. When a certain spell or effect would deal half damage on a successful dexterity saving throw, it deals no damage if you succeed. Only half damage if you fail. Does this just happen for like everything? What is this? Arcane ammunition. Infuse your crossbow bolt with arcane energy. Range weapon attacks deal an additional 1 to 4 force damage. Pog! Bro, who gives a fuck? What the hell? Let's go into camp. Cup of oil. Interesting. I don't know why scrolls don't drag. It's a weird, like, bug kind of thing. I don't know, does this have utility? Like, if I throw a cup of oil, It does nothing. The cup of oil is hit for 4 bludgeoning damage. That's funny. Oh man. I kind of want to. Dude, I kind of want to reclass. There are really good aspects of being monk, though. I just like, it's really weird. It's like it's this bizarre like middle ground between being like kind of supportive and being a martial. Where it's like I feel like I consistently do more damage than someone like Shadowheart. Oh god, I have to poop too. Hold on. I wish I had the poop like 10 minutes ago or whatever before I started streaming. right. Sorry, I'm retarded. I am retarded. Is there actually even a reason to like have high strength on this character? I almost feel like you go for wisdom instead. Oh no, for jump distance, right? But I have like athlete. Don't I have athlete? I think I have athlete. And athlete is what gives me the 18 dex. So here, okay, so let me let's go through like the things that make monk good or whatever. Oh, it just like does everybody at the same time. I mean, that's cool. I don't even understand how the fuck maneuvering attack works, to be honest with you. I like goading attack though. I think it's good. Shadowheart. Ooh, new spells. Okay. So, in any event, let's talk about like the pros and cons of monk. So, one of the really big things with the monk that I think is really good is the stunning strike, and then also this weapon, Nature's Snare. Dude, I feel like between these two things, between like just randomly stunning people and randomly just like ensnaring them, and giving advantage to my other two martial guys is just really strong. I feel like it works really well with this specific team comp. And it's gonna work even better because I have extra attack on fucking Karlak now. However, this team comp is obviously really susceptible to just getting like destroyed by all kinds of like range shit, right? What is this lightning thing? Consume 3 lightning charges, release a blast of electricity. Lightning aura. The fuck? Is this like an update? What is this? Class action? I guess this is a level 7 monk thing? This just seems so bizarre. I don't know. Let's go through like these options of like what I could become. Oh, dude, I love Druid. I really do love playing Druid. I think Bard could be a fun thing to play around with again. I really do want to try Ranger. I think I'll just, you know what? I think I'll just stick to Monk. Yeah, I think I'll just stick to Monk. Um,
And I've never wanted to install Overwatch more, so I have not enjoyed it. I can definitely say I enjoy a lot of the tank heroes. Here's the thing, I enjoy a lot of the tank heroes. Recently picked up Doomfist thanks to Samido coaching, having a blast on that hero. I enjoy playing Junker Queen a lot. She's a great tank. Enjoying Sigma as well as well as my original OGs of Reinhardt Winston, but it has been miserable. The games have been, it feels like the burden is so high on the tank to like do so much, and when it comes to like carrying the game, it feels like you have to drop like 30-1 or something just to actually make sure you might win the game. So it's been a frustrating experience. I went back to support the last couple of days. I'm a better human now. I'm feeling way more chill. I'm enjoying life. So we'll get into all of those, but let's.
oh, okay.
Let's fixate first on this balance issue, because a couple of you, Yeedle and Flats, both said kind of like it's a balance thing. I think they've taken some wrong steps. I want to take it to Yeedle first. Yeedle, you've made some discussion videos on this, on where you feel like particularly Ball, the Fall of Ball video is a great one, and we'll talk about each tank, by the way, individually at some point in this video, so in this podcast. So we'll get to Ball specifically, but overall, what is it when you say balance is perhaps why tank feels not so fun? What do you think? What you mean by that?
I think there's a couple things that didn't translate well going into the
Yep.
Overwatch 2, and one of them being
think
snipers, for example. Like
it's
in Overwatch
time.
1, you could go 2 shields, or if you ran dive like Winston and Diva, you could have your Diva matrix your team through a choke, or go on the dive on the snipers. But in Overwatch 2, it's a little bit harder to deal with the snipers because not every tank has a shield or mobility. So if you're not playing one of those tanks, you're kind of screwed. Snipers are just one example because long range one shots, you're kind of at the mercy of your team.
Oh, I
whenever you
forgot
play
about
Lana
this.
If you don't have the better Widow player, that's just how it is. Another thing is probably, I'd say, Sombra's hack is also a pretty bad one, because the problem with hack is, again, the outplay ability. Like, if she hacks you in stealth from like an angle or behind, there's not really much you can do about it if you're not on a certain tank. Like for example, Reinhardt hit a quick 180 shield, or Winston drop your bubble instantly. Like most of the other tanks, if she's hacking you, you're screwed. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't outplay that for the most part, other than I guess like spy checking on D.Va or something like that. But that's like the second example. I think another one is cleanse, right? On Kiriko, the fact that you can be taking a 1v1 somewhere on the side of the map and then Kiriko just TPs and cleanse. How do you outplay that? How are you expected to be like, oh yeah, she had TP and cleanse, and now that 1v1 that it came down to the last HP that I was about to win it. I took the right calculation. She TP cleansed, and they can still shoot while they're in cleanse. Look at Overwatch 1, the people that had immortality per se, Reaper and Moira, they both fade, but they can't shoot, right? And then I'd say the only other really big problem in Overwatch 1 was Slam. But anyways, I'm kind of digressing, but I think those things are all a lot more annoying to deal with in Overwatch 2 because you don't have the other tank. That's basically it.
But you're not.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
One more big thing. Ana in Overwatch 2 is actually a big problem because again, you don't have two tanks, so you can't matrix it, you can't shield it. No matter what, like the only people that can stop it, I think, are Sigma and D.Va that can completely outplay both her cooldowns.
Yeah, I think I've done every single thing I could possibly do.
Everybody else at
Get help from
most one
anti, yeah,
cooldown, and I'd say
LOL.
half the tanks can't even outplay either of them. So like, then you got the whole rest of the roster. It all comes down to my argument is that if you can't outplay it, it's broken, and there's a lot of that in Overwatch 2. And Ana's one of the big threats for that because you just can't outplay her sleeping or nading you if you don't have the ability to do it. So,
And
that's it.
you just to be clear, because you said, oh, this is from now we're 5v5. You're not a believer that it would have been better in 6v6. Like we were better off in 6v6.
No. I think 6v6 does solve a lot of these problems, and I don't really care either way if it's 5v5 or 6v6. But I would like to see 5v5 on a good patch, like where they deal with these things that I'm claiming to be broken. Like if they dealt with that, I feel like 5v5 wouldn't be that bad for tanks.
Okay, well I'm gonna let Salt chime in because he was almost performing a 90s R&B boy band number when you said that Ana was a problem. So Salt, like a lot of the things that Yidel point out, you think those are the problems, or you think there's a bigger issue at play?
I mean, for sure, 5v5 does result in a lot of problems because 6v6, there's another person to, take an extra CC or have, an extra person to look at. But I think a big issue at hand is that, just as you said, supports in general just have way too much. They have an answer for everything. It's like, okay, I wait for cleanse. Okay, now I use this ability. Wait, the other support hasn't.
I don't care.
Vulnerability, or maybe a pool.
Yeah,
or
Gale
maybe,
has to like kill himself or
a
some
lamp,
shit, and that's all
or,
that matters.
I think it's just horrible as a tank to deal with it, because it's literally like a checklist, like a shopping checklist. Oh yeah, there's cleanse, TP, nade, sleep. Okay, now I can go in, and then by the time you go in, it's back on rotation. And slipped my mind now, but yeah, I think 5v5 format just results in rock paper scissors as well, because you're just one tank, and obviously how Overwatch used to be, choosing a certain hero allowed you to get an advantage over the other person, when they're playing a certain hero. For example, Hog or Ana. But now it's such a easy key to use to win in 5v5. So yeah, 6v6 did allow you to stop a lot of that stuff from happening.
Interesting. I'm going to take it to Flash next. By the way, guys, feel free at any point to kind of jump in if you feel like someone's saying something and you really want to vibe off of that. You can also do what Sam did last week, just raise your hand very politely like a schoolboy. So whatever works for you. If you want to just chime in. Actually, Yidel, you got something immediately you want to say? Or is that just, yeah.
One more thing, because Salt mentioned supports being a bit of a problem. I think another really good example of like you can't outplay this is again Kiriko cleanse. Like if you go in for an engage, let's say you land a pin, you calculated it perfectly, or you go for a pile driver as ball, that gets cleansed, and all of a sudden your value as a tank is gone. You're either feeding or like you're gone for the next 20 seconds. So I think that's another like, how am I supposed to outplay that?
Hmm.
So yeah, sorry.
No, appreciate it, appreciate it. Yeah, it's like it's turning into therapy session here. Like, what am I supposed to do, man? And kind of Yeedle and Salt have kind of alluded to this as like a legacy of switching over from 6v6. Flash, you've obviously you're in the same group chat I am, so you've seen Frito and Samido with lengthy paragraphs back and forth arguing for 6v6, 5v5, what's better, going at it. Do you think this is a 6v6 to 5v5 issue, or do you think it's just a balance that they can solve?
Dude, I literally have no dog in this fight. I remember, I think you asked me, you were like, oh, what? Like someone said it, and I was like, honestly, I don't care. Like, I actually think there's no difference between 5v5 and 6v6 because we look at 6v6 with rose tinted glasses, but you know, it got me a little bit thinking, right? And I kind of always work off this assumption that people are kind of dumb. And if you ask people what's the meta right now, most people are going to answer it's Orisa meta, right? Like people will say it's Orisa meta. Like that happens with everything, right? They always say whatever the main tank is. They never talk about everything else, unless it's like
Okay, can we?
hard dominating. Like we're talking like Widow is killing you.
I can hold a fucking shield in my left hand, but I can't hold a torch in my left hand? What the fuck is this shit? Are you serious? I have to remove my fucking thing? Why? This isn't actually a two-handed weapon. That's so dumb. What the fuck? Why? Wait, I can do it for... I must be missing something. I have to be missing something, right? I'm missing something. Why? I just don't understand this. Oh, why is Carl like barefoot? Okay. Give me 1 sec. We're just gonna deposit Carlac. Because she's gonna be like useless until we get Butchaduzi, so we're gonna grab Gale. Definitely that. Do I want this one? Do I want something else? What do I have here? Uh, oh, we don't always need this on, do we? Wait, did I just like not accept? I'm sorry. I'm trying to think if I should keep hastened on. This wall of fire is kind of situational, in my opinion. Oh, okay. The level 5 elemental follower spell is like really good, honestly. See, the problem is I like never use this spell. It's also not evocation, so my allies can't dodge it. That's what I think is so insane about the evocation thing, is because I can literally put up wall of fire, and my allies can just walk through it. Or I can just like have Lizelle in the middle of an ice storm spell, and she has like the only effect that happens to her is she slips. I think I don't even know if that happens, but yeah. Well, we'll go with this for now. Yeah. It's fine. It's not that big of a deal. He just loses some AC. This thing should have light emitting from it, though. If not, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, I suppose. Yeah, I just no, I'm fine because I have the blood of the Thunder. Oh, wait, okay. We want Lizelle to have her weapon because Lizelle is significantly, like, yeah. Like, you just waste a turn, essentially, if you don't have it. Now, let me actually see this really quick. Does Will doesn't have any radiant damage, right? Let me just see passives. Yeah, we're already doing radiant damage on that. Okay.
Everybody like, oh, it's a sniper meta, right? Like, other than that, so you know, it got me really kind of thinking, even back to old Overwatch, right? Why is the reason we had roll queue? Well, the roll queue kind of came because one, the ranked experience was kind of, or just like playing the game was kind of shit, because you'd get, you know, those games where you had 6 DPS or, you know, 4 DPS and a Mercy. You know, it
Oh
was,
man,
it was
we all
never a
got
good
horrible
time. And
rolls.
before that, you know, you kind of got
Jesus.
bullied. Like someone got bullied onto playing Mercy every game during dive meta because you needed to have a Mercy during Moth meta. And then before that, we had Triple Tank, and Triple Tank was kind of made by Ana because Ana was so good. Yeah, Soldier was kind of good too. Like he was like the DPS. So you had the Triple Tank plus
Dude,
Ana
what the
Soldier kind of, you know, thing going on. But it was mostly Ana with like, you know, you had like Nano Boost that was really good. Lucio was still pretty good, but you had the Synergy. And then, you know, past Goats, we got into the Orisa Hog meta, but like, you know, that quickly became double shield, but that was kind of reinforced by that Brig. And then later into the history of Overwatch, we ended up having that Zen Brig meta, which you played like Hog Ball / like Sig Ball / Hog Ball. But it was all dominated again by the Brig Zen. But no one ever thinks about that. Everyone always says it's the tanks. Like it's the first thing they always jump to is tanks. And, you know, my personal hot take is I don't even think Orisa's that strong right now. I think she's good, but the reason why she's good is because she's a fucking wall and she just stands there. And there used to be other things when a wall would just stand there. We'd go Winston, just fuck it, screw it, just go over the Orisa, ignore her. But you can't do that because you're gate kept by Bastion, you're gate kept by Brig. That's really good still. Ana's really good still. Life Weaver actually is somehow, at least in ranked, like really hard to dive now because like he's got a million escape tools and just so much HP. The passive nerf didn't even feel like it did anything. Like it felt no different. Mercy's still okay. I wouldn't say Mercy's great, but like, you know, if we're talking about like going to kill a support, Mercy's kind of hard to kill a lot of time. We had, you know, they've all talked about Kiriko and all that stuff, but you know, that's kind of why we get into this meta where you sit there and play Orisa and just don't move and don't die, because my hot take is that the way tank is balanced now is almost like old support philosophy, where you're basically supposed to be enabling people instead of being a playmaker. So the reason why you can't play anything other than Orisa right now is because you're not supposed to go make plays. You're supposed to stand there and wait like a good little tank player until eventually something gets close enough that you kill them, or their tank gets too antsy and feeds, or someone on your team makes a play, right? So it's very weird, and I think that's why it's become more boring than anything. and very unfun and very unimpactful, because when I actually do make plays, I'm more or less not really making a play. I'm just more punishing them for doing something stupid. And like that sucks, because I don't feel like I'm doing anything. I feel like I have to wait for them to fuck up, right? And it's like, when you're playing a game of waiting for someone else to fuck up, that's how you get Lifeweaver at launch, where everybody sat there, like, you know, like the whole point of Lifeweaver was sitting there waiting to pull somebody. It's unfun and it's boring. But there's also another part of that where I think, because tank players are kind of like the minority of the player base, there's not really a lot of them to talk about it. So we kind of get steamrolled, and nobody cares about it, right? Because like the supports are really, really loud. Let's be honest with ourselves. Support players are very loud.
Nice.
DPS players are probably the majority. At least back in Overwatch 1 always was longest queue time, you know, most amount of players. So even though it's in a balanced spot, they probably have the most amount of players. We don't know what the player numbers are, because Blizzard doesn't tell us that type of information. So by process of elimination, I assume tank players are probably in the minority here. So when you have less people and it's not as loud, our problems are going to kind of go under the radar a little bit more. Sorry, I guess I'm kind of rambling a little bit here. I'll wrap it up. The point is, though, I don't think value 5 or 6v6 really matters. I would honestly, maybe I'm in left field. What? Fuck it, let's go 4v4. 1 tank, 2 DPS, 1 support. The
Wow.
support gets to keep all of their tools, and if damage comes down, healing comes down, everyone still has impact.
Wow, I did not think you'd come in and drop that. Okay, sorry. Who's couple voices here? Who's trying to say something? Go ahead, Salt.
Yeah, on the point, like, on Twitter, like, supports are crybabies, bro. All they do is, like, you say one take and they get their whole personality hurt. It's like, go fuck yourself. You're a Mercy player, bro. Like, I don't care if I have a comment about your fucking character.
Yep, I had
We're
nothing
getting
to do with
personally
this.
invested.
Flashlight. Peace out. I didn't start that. I didn't initiate that.
I hate the fact that Anna is known as a skill hero. It's not. You spam your fucking nade and sleep from across the fucking map. You're dog shit at the game too. And it's very easy to heal and do damage.
Says the
That's
Roadhog
why it's
player.
been meta for 6 seasons in fucking Korea. App has 3 fucking health pools. Lifeweaver has every answer under the Bible. I'm pretty sure he's sent by fucking Jesus Christ himself. And the only character that's like somewhat balanced is probably Zen or fucking Lucio. And
Lucio's balanced.
us
Zen is
tank
not.
players, we just bend over and take it. That's all we do. We have a comment, it gets shut down every fucking time. And like, I agree with Flats. Well, I'm not sure about 4v4, but it would fucking help because, you know, supports have an answer for fucking everything. No matter what. No matter what I do, they just have an answer for it. It's just annoying that an ability can counter my ult every fucking time. But I can't do that as a tank. So it doesn't make sense, you know? But, yeah.
Interesting. There's a couple different points there. One is the kind of actual just a player-based minority issue, right? Which is what Flats alluded to as well, is that tanks have always been historically just the least number of players. And so there's a feeling here amongst the squad that the feelings of the minority are being ignored. Salt?
Sorry, can I say one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's like, I've heard this this comment, oh, tanks are not meant to kill. Tanks are not meant to, you know, make plays. They're meant to make space. Who the fuck wants to log into a game and make space for it as a game?
No, that's
Like,
because people are
what?
dumb though. That's how you make space is you have to be threatening.
Yeah, it's
Not
like, I gotta be
threatening,
like,
that's not
hey,
space.
hey, focus me. That's my gameplay, bro. Like, come on, man. Like, get real. Like, what kind of... It's a fucking game. I don't want to make space. I want to make plays with my team. Do this, you know, kill this. Be able to, you know, kill something myself. So, yeah, I think anyone that says tank is only for space making is just brain dead.
Problem with tank and support is that, like, remember initially when Overwatch 2 launched, everyone's like, oh, support's the weakest role to just get dove and die off of cooldown.
Yeah.
And there were people out there, I'm gonna ego trip here. I was one of those people. Overwatch League helped because we had beta and alpha access and a lot of practice on it. But we're like, yo, no, support's strong. You just gotta, like, you gotta shift your mindset away from pumping, healing up, you know, your tank's butt. You gotta take space and take angles and take duels. And then what's happened is that, like, that plus a tiny little bit of support creep, power creep, that's kind of kicked in, And supports it's been like really a survival of the fittest for supports. You either learn how to DPS or you die. You go back to bronze. That's all there is. So what we've had happen is that supports have learned how to play Overwatch 2, and supports now have this new identity where like now I am a playmaker. Now I am able to take and win duels. But yet tank still feels like it's the you take space. You don't have that identity anymore. So it's like now supports have this new identity of like more responsibility to take care of themselves and to make plays themselves, but tanks don't have that identity anymore. They've lost a lot of that damage. They've lost a lot of that lethality. And Salt's right, like you can't make space consistently without threat. And the problem is that you can make space by threatening kills as a Winston and jumping backline and forcing Wraith and turret form and nade and sleep, and your team may or may not win the fight off of that, but it feels terrible. It feels terrible because the lethality of your jump, there is no nuance to it. You force the cooldowns and you have to wait it out. And you force cooldowns and you wait it out. You force cooldowns and you wait it out. And there never is very rarely will be a switch from I'm getting indirect value to where I'm actually getting direct value and securing kills. Whereas with support, that switch can happen very quickly. You hit a sleep dart, you hit a nade, and all of a sudden you're the one popping off. And I think with a hero like Orisa, like what Flats is saying, Orisa, I wouldn't say is a more effective tank than any of the other tanks. She just feels better because you're not you have tools to deal with the CC. You still absorb it. You don't have the mobility and even really the range to consistently actually punish backliners and supports and DPS, but it feels great. Even the dopamine of hitting a javelin is the stupidest CC in the game. They got the hitbox of a Mack truck, but it feels awesome. And so I might lose the game, but I've got all the stats. I have low stats. I felt awesome and had a great time doing it. And I don't have the enemy tank chasing me around the map like I would if I was playing Winston or Ball or Ryan.
I love it. Yeah, I was going to go to Spylo next anyways, but I'm really grateful for that input. Yeetle, you've been silently listening to these complaints for a little bit. Do you have anything you want to vibe off of this feeling that like, no one wants to log in and just take space, and that's yet what's being asked of tank players?
Yeah, I mean, for this one, I think we're mostly in agreement. Like, there's not too much more to say other than support is literally tank, DPS, and support all in one. Like, they can take space, they can win DPS duels, and it's true. It's just true. I mean, some of us are Flats. You're playing support, aren't you? You've been playing them a lot more.
I mean, dude, I'm somehow like GM like 3 or something in GM 1 last season on support. I don't know what I'm doing half the time. The characters play themselves half the time, but
Exactly.
I don't want to say that because people get really upset. And
They really do.
there's still, there's still people that come after me and say that support is weak right now, like this season or last season.
They're smoking.
And
They're
I
smoking.
have that larger casual audience, if you're talking like TikTok, YouTube Shorts, stuff like that, and it's like they do genuinely still believe that their role is weak. And as somebody who very early on in like Overwatch, like the betas to like launch Overwatch, I also said like, hey, like support has to do a lot, and it felt like it was weak. And I was someone who advocated that support probably needed a little bit of help. Now, Spill, I think is actually totally 100% spot on that they needed to relearn the game. And tank also had to relearn the game, but we had like giga buffs right at the start. Like, I don't know if I've even met a tank player that hasn't said, maybe except ball players actually, to be fair, that the first beta of Overwatch 2 didn't feel awesome. Like, it was like awesome. It was a power trip simulator. It was great. Now, I understand it had to come back a little bit, but like that was kind of like the feeling of, okay, like I can make space, I can be threatening, I can make plays, and it felt good because towards the end of Overwatch 1, that was kind of slipping a little bit, because like Zen Brig was really strong, Bat Brig was still really strong, so it was like a good time. But ever since then, it's just been sliding downhill. And then somewhere around the season 2 area, maybe into season 3, like support was like really strong now. It's like, okay, let's pump the brakes. Like it's like we've done enough buffing at this point. And then on top of that, people learned how to play the role as well. So now you have like people got better and got a bunch more stats, and there was never like a comeback down of that. And even if you look back at actually old numbers, like if you look back at like the old numbers of Overwatch 1 for like healing and stuff like that, they're all significantly higher than they used to be. And that is with supposedly less damage in the game because there's a whole less role. Like when you remove an entire tank out of each game, there should be less damage across the board. Now, of course, we didn't have scoreboards in Overwatch 1, so we can't really like go back and like compare numbers to prove that. maybe Overwatch League has like statistics saved somewhere that like could have been used. But other than that, though, it's everything. It's like a culmination of things, and I feel like crazy because I watched this happen 5 years ago, like where everything was kind of getting power crept. Plus, but now we just have new problems. Plus power creep. Plus.
Hey, what's up?
All these other things, and it's just like
I'm going around this shit.
Maybe I'm a little bit
I'm
cynical.
like,
I've
I'm
just,
pretty
like,
sure
kinda
there's like
given
this
up.
plant, the
I don't
haunted
know.
plant
Like,
guys
the way
over
we're
there.
kind of going, I don't see a way out.
Yeah.
Damn.
But
Go ahead,
my
you.
point in bringing it up is, so you've been playing a lot more support. I've literally only played support this season, and I think a couple other tank players. Is Boger playing support? I know he went on a Lifeweaver trip for a while.
He's been
There's a
playing
lot
fair
of tank
amount.
players going support. Support's a pretty good role. I won't even lie to you. And just to add to the point that I think support's probably a bit busted is when Kiriko came out, I played Kiriko. I never really played support before. I've always been, I guess, ball player, but tank mostly. I literally got ranked 15 like the first week playing Kiriko, and then now Lari's come out, and I'm up there for like top 50. Like the supports for the most part, and that's not even me taking like DPS duels or anything like that. It's me literally just heal body. Like you can just heal bot and win games. It's crazy. It's mostly just live. But yeah, that's all I want to say.
No, I mean,
I'd be surprised if you got that high heal botting. I'm not gonna lie.
I promise you. I can show you my
Fine.
stats on Kiriko.
I'll take your word for it. Because I feel like there are a lot of players where, whether you're DPS or tank, there is a little bit of survivorship bias where, like, the Defran effect is what I call it, where, like, this support character is easy because I have, like, the aggressive mindset to be able to do damage and win duels. And if you're picking Kiriko and you're hard flanking, you're basically playing the hero 85% of how it should be played anyway, right? So, like, of course you're going to have an easier time. Whereas all these Plat Mercy mains and Lucio mains and Ana mains from Overwatch 1, that's totally, that's a different language. That's not how they speak. And so they, like I said, survival of the fittest. So
I'll say one thing. In the lower ranks, I was more inclined to DPS, but like once you get the GM,
Right.
I can literally just heal the entire time. I can pump out like 2k damage on Kiriko or Lari and just win the game.
That's
just like
wild.
that. Like all you need to do is just not die. Die and heal people. And hit your ability. That's it.
This is very interesting. I want to quickly say here, firstly, for any support players listening, next week we'll have a great support debate. So if you're sitting here and you're like, man, these fucking tank players just blaming on the support, well, there'll be a chance for support players to voice their grievances and their feelings next week. But
And
also,
I will say,
yeah, go ahead, Skylar.
can I interject? I don't
Yeah.
think the problem is necessarily that the support identity is bad right now.
Oh, where's
The
Damon?
fact that they can
What the
DPS
fuck?
and defend themselves and heal. I think if I'm like, as somebody who really started playing support, and that was the hero, the rank that I got to with Grandmaster, the role, excuse me. I think the identity is good. I think the more you have to have it. There's no off tank. There's nobody else to control space. You have to control space. You have to defend yourself. You have to contribute. The problem is just the quantity, the amplitude, right? It's just a little too high.
Yeah, those
It's
chicks
not the
got
amount
some,
of healing. It's not
good
healing or the
stuff.
damage or the CC or the utility. It's the fact that they can do all of it at the same time. It's just a little too high. And I think as players have evolved and gotten better at doing those things, we should then scale back how much help is needed, because I don't think the help is needed as much anymore. I mean, people, just the support passive alone was like almost an afterthought when it was released. Like, it was like, okay, that's pretty helpful. That's
Okay, we got the cape. What else does she have? Successful saving throw against a foe spells, 4 to 7 fire damage. I don't know. It seems cool, but it's like, I feel like you need to be in a really specific scenario where you know you're going up against like only mage guys, and then you equip this. Because otherwise, like the spell sparkler robe is just gonna be better for Gale, right? This staff is really good, but it's really expensive. Well, it's actually not even that good. It's literally just you just get the fireball spell like every long rest or something, right? And then yeah, you gain 1 level 1 spell slot, and then shield bash. This would be good for Shadowheart. It's, oh god, it's so expensive though. Why do I have such little money? We can sell this. Here, we'll do. Oh my god. This cape is expensive. Dealing damage, unarmed attack. +1 bonus spell save DC until the end of their turn. When you make an attack offhand weapon, add your ability modifier to the damage of the attack. Ability modifier is like what? I assume it's just like if you're using strength, you use strength. If you're using dexterity, you use dexterity. Amplify reflexes, better contend with incoming missiles. You have to use an action for this though, and you have to use concentration. That's so garbage. I feel like this should be a bonus action or like a reaction. Shield is a reaction, right? Yeah. About to get hit by an enemy, increase your armor class by 5. Take no damage from magic missile. You gain bull strength, increased strength to a maximum of 20. The Mighty Cloth. Oh, does she have, she has these. We'll grab these guys. Yeah, she doesn't really have, like, ingredients, unfortunately. And her potions are kind of whatever. I'm just not a big fan of like effects like this where it's like you increase the critical hit chance. Unless it's a guaranteed crit. That's like the only time I think it's good. Arrow of Transportation. Oh, what is this? Oh, it's just +2. Like, why are you using a two-handed weapon if you're like trying to be defensive? You know what I mean? Like, just wear a shield and use a one-handed weapon. What's my current thing? Dexterity saving throw +1. I mean, this would just be nice, but again, it's expensive. Let me see how much stuff I can just sell. I don't know how much like garbage I have. Oh, also, do I give this cape to... Who am I giving it to? I'll give it to Lizelle for now. Mr. Gale is gonna use this on himself, and he's what, 18 now? Yeah, he's 18 armor class. Oh, we're going to the chest, my bad. Defender's Flail. I mean, this is like for Shadowheart, but Shadowheart just has better stuff, bro. I might want that one day. Cat's Grace increased dexterity by 2. Nimble is a cat. Giving +1 bonus to dexterity saving throws, also increased jump distance. What is Cat's Grace? Wow, thank you. I understand, yes. Has advantage on dexterity checks, only takes half damage from falling. Attack roll doesn't count as a dexterity check, right? No. Oh, no. I'm sorry. A dexterity check would be like when you're thieving. Like when you're pickpocketing or when you're picking a lock or whatever. Because this is like... In some ways, this is like... I get like half the value of this, right? Because this is 12 armor class, and so I'm buffing the dexterity by 2. So I'm gonna go to level 20 on it, and then I'm gonna be so I lose 1 AC essentially to gain these like dexterity bonuses. And to increase the jump distance. My jump distance is already so far though. Dexterity saving throws. How often do I need a dexterity saving throw? Like, probably not that often, right? Oh, I still haven't eaten that. I should probably eat that. We'll keep the luminous armor for now. This is a meme. When you dash, you gain a wraith for 2 turns. I'll probably save this for Karlach. Unarmed attacks deal an additional 1 to 4 fire damage. When are my current gloves? Hit with unarmed attack, wear against 2 lightning charges. How much do we really care about lightning charges? +1 to attack rolls. Ooh, man, that's like insanely good, actually. Yeah, I think lightning charges are him. Is he him? Yeah, I think these are kind of a meme. Set dexterity, or what are these? Heal another creature, gains resistance. Oh, these gloves are just so good, though. Like, the reverberation. Dude, just, like, hitting people, getting reverberation on people is so nice. Wait, no, wasn't there a different reason? Hold on. Oh, fuck. I thought there was, like, something where, if they are reverberating, you deal more damage or something like that. I thought I had something that did that. For Gale spells... Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I just have this. It's just the one, right? Would these gloves be better for armor class? Because what's Gale's dexterity? Oh, he's 16 already. I could rework him and then give him those gloves. Does he get better gloves at some other point? It doesn't even the thing. It doesn't even really matter that much, because you're. Yeah, what am I gonna do? Increase his fucking charisma just so he doesn't have like a negative charisma bonus? It just doesn't really seem like it matters that much. Hold on, I'm gonna pee really quick. Oh. Oh. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, what else are we doing? I think I'll keep these gloves though. Succeed saving throw, Githyanki gain, blah 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 to saving throws. What does oh, she has that. Yeah, we're like never removing that, honestly. It's kind of too good. I'm still considering this. I'll save it for now. I don't really want to sell this either. These bracers of defense, I think these are really only good for like for classes who aren't proficient with shields. Because you can just pick a shield up off the ground and just stick it in your hand and like these immediately become void, right? Because you can't wear these when you have a shield. Armor class increased by 1. In addition, Bardic Inspiration. Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, I'll save that. Why not? Everburn Blade. Should I actually give this to, I might give this to, Karlak. Oh, this is dog shit, yeah. Throw that in the trash. I honestly don't know who's gonna wear this. This medium armor. Because this is great for Shadowheart, but like this is just better. Not getting critical hits and also 16 armor class, like for a medium armor, I don't know, man. It's kind of hard to beat. It's kind of hard to compete with that. I don't think anybody's gonna ever use a short sword, so we'll get rid of that. I think. Carrying capacity exceeded 308. True. All right. Boom.
Quality of life for Ana and Brig, but now we're like, oh my gosh, this is actually so busted, right? And I think just like as our evolution of understanding the game and executing the game has evolved, I think you also have to scale back. Like, does Batiste need, like we said, does he need lamp and does he need shift, and do we need the burst heal for armor pack, and do we need this and do we need that? Like, there's a lot of like case by case basis.
Holy
You need
shit.
to go through and be like, is this necessary?
Give me that
now
money,
that
boy.
we've actually leveled up and play.
Hello guys, SEB here, and the Group Up podcast is back, and I'd like to take just 30 seconds of your time to talk to you about two quick things. Firstly, Patreon. If you enjoy the content, then please do consider supporting directly, because Patreon takes only about 10% of the money you give, where YouTube and Twitch take 40 and 50% respectively. So if you'd like to support the podcast, then that is the best way to do so. Secondly, if you're someone who enjoys video essays or detailed
Yeah,
analysis
this is
of
like-
movies, TV, or anime, then please do check out my
pretty
second channel, The
garbage,
Soak, where I'll be making videos about those kind of topics much more frequently, and where a lot of my attention will go beyond just Overwatch. It would mean the absolute world to me if you guys would check it out, but that's it for now. Let's head back to the discussion.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
no.
I also
Right.
want to clarify. I don't
10
think it's
GP.
completely tank sucks because of support. I think it's probably like a third of the problem, maybe half of the problem. I think there's more stuff that are like problematic. Like I mentioned, snipers, Sombra, etc.
Did Halson die in this
Yeah,
playthrough?
I
I think he
mean,
did.
The thing is with DPS, it's like they're good because they're able to swap and fuck a tank. You know,
Yes.
I feel like
That's
it's
fine.
like it's not that much of an issue. I don't think DPS is. I think it's a good role right now. I don't think it's completely OP, but the fact that they can rock paper scissors is what makes DPS actually a decent role. I just want to say, like, if tanks had a quarter of what a
Yeah, we're actually gonna turn on music. Because this fight should be pretty significant. We're going to deposit Mr. Gale and grab Karlak.
I have a lot on my mind.
Go ahead. I'm listening. I'll be.
Get out of here. I question the wisdom of that decision.
What's hiding here?
Yeah, let me see if this Everburn blade is gonna be better for Oh wait, we're giving her these shoes too, right?
Copper for your thoughts.
7 to 20. Yeah, this is just better. This is like an action, right? This tires protection. Oh, it's a bonus action. Yeah, it's concentration. Honestly, it might be better. Nah, we want the extra damage. Who gives a fuck about armor class? Giga Chad. Giga Chad. Why do I have so many of these? Shadowheart doesn't need a torch. We'll give her a torch because why not? She has one. Gale has one. We'll keep one here.
Let's move. Oh my god, soldier. That's Jaheira.
Vic, don't you know the whole story? Years ago, over a century, Jaheira was part of a group that saved Baldur's Gate from Saravok, a Baal sport trying to plunge the city into war. My mum used to tell us stories about them. The legends who protected the city from evil. She said Jaheira was a power. I've told myself those stories 1,000 times since. I never thought I'd meet Jaheira. She's a hero, and I was always... some outer city kid. Can't believe she wants to talk to us about working together.
Oh my god, can I walk inside the building? Thank you.
And through.
Please. To your very good health.
A medicine check. Amazing.
You proceed. I assure you it's quite safe. Bottoms up. Well over a century. Still people tell. As an heir, answer me true and do not lie. The parasite is changing you. Isn't it? But a river can flood and break its banks. If the parasite changes you, good. I have every reason. The cult, we tracked them to this ancient village, only to be faced with a man we killed and buried over a century ago. General Kedrick Thorn. Remember that name. He's the leader of the Absolutists. But he's returned. Not only does General Kedrick Thorn live again, it seems he is no longer mortal. We met him. You are that hope. Protected by your artifact. Find out once Kedrick is without his shield, the sword, whatever magic Kedrick's using to... She's upstairs.
Yep, I get it.
Isabel's...
Oh, okay. Yes, I can go there. Stop game. Okay.
My old friend.
Oh no.
Leberouge showing off your...
This man takes orders from General Thorn. Helping him may be just what you need to gain deeper access to the cult.
Isabel, the Selûnite cleric that guards this place. I hope she'll see...
Amazing. Alright, so we're not taking his side.
Assume nothing.
Bazel is gonna hold right here.
Oh, I could go for a good meal.
Karlak's gonna hang out here. Shadowheart's gonna hang out here. Let me see. Is there any way that I should prep? I think I bless everybody. Let me make sure we all have our weapons equipped and shit. Yeah, we do. Okay. Do I have like potions of speed? Oh, oh my god, I have way too many of them. Jesus. I'll be right back. I'm gonna put ice in my drink. Yeah, I think everybody just puts like some oil sort of thing on their weapon. +2 to attack rolls. I think I like that. Coat your weapon in oil. Target. Receive. Spell attack rolls. Disadvantage saving throw. Whatever. Oh, okay. This is like so specific and niche. I think drop poison's really good actually. They become poisoned and fall asleep. It's kind of wild. Oh, should I hide the, we'll hide that. We'll come back to that in the future. Ooh, doo, 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 doo. All right. I'm gonna grab this.
Enough waiting. I crave blood.
There's work to do.
Oh, sure. Should I summon this guy too? I guess there's no reason not to, right? I'm kind of like using every spell slot for no reason though.
Here for battle.
Yeah.
What a charmer.
Oh, she can't code it because she has the Everburn Blade. That's fine. Alright.
Looking ahead.
Let's go.
Simple enough. And
Is
the true soul who's going to save it. But the cultists are able to traverse while you're.
Isabel.
What the hell's is going on? You.
Let's go.
Moon Maiden, guide my hands.
Come along, Isabel.
Pray nobody important dies. No shot. Holy shit.
And away I go.
Oh my god. That's wild. Good damage. Holy shit. That's like the best turn I could have ever had. Holy crap. Here's the thing, right? So, these guys are blessed. With these gloves... Oh, no, it just gains resistance. Okay, no, I thought it, like, did a spell that I had to concentrate on and, like, that sort of thing, but that's not true. What even are my level 4 spells? I have to concentrate, right? Yeah, we don't want to do that. We don't really want to concentrate on anything that's, like, not blessed, basically. Oh my god, so many concentration spells. I think we just Guiding Bolt. Probably like level 3. We'll go level 2 Guiding Bolt. 18, pretty good. And we'll grab Spiritual Weapon. Extextora! Fly? $15. Extextora! Alright, we're gonna miss this. Oh, wait. Can I just jump over here? Kinda. No, we're gonna miss these stuff. The thing I'm worried about is that Karlach isn't gonna be able to, come in here. Oh, I already used bonus action. Okay. That's fine. We can go, like, right here. I'm not too worried about him, simply because stricken with Drow Poison. Holy based. Jesus Christ. Do I just keep going? I think I end turn right now. One down is very, very good. Get some damage on him, heal yourself, very good. What more could you ask for? Yeah, we'll grab a rage. We do have extra attack now, so I should just kill him this turn. That's great, okay. We'll stand next to him. We'll action surge. There's no reason not to. Grab some extra attacks on him. Wow, we didn't even have the reckless attack. That's really good.
You'll make excellent fertilizer.
Excellent fertilizer. Paralyzed, surprised, whatever. Okay, the Crete. Nice hit. That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, being a monk is like, you honestly get these like crazy advantages on some things. This stunned strike is like the entire reason to be a monk is for this stunned strike. Like, I'm not even kidding. The bonus actions are nice, but like overall key points are like, they're kind of underwhelming compared to like what fighters get, for example. Just because like fighters get action surge, barbarians get rage. Like, these are good bonus actions, don't get me wrong. It's nice to have bonus actions. There's a lot of classes that lack bonus actions, like fucking cleric, where it's just, you feel like a lot of your bonus actions are like, wow, let me just use another spell slot even though I have like 3 left. Like, you get these on short rest, so. Oh, and you can also use bonus action without even using these. Like, you're not really required to. I just use this, and we just get, like, free kills and shit off of that, you know? Can I? Oh, I can, nice. Immune to simple poison. My faith will protect me. Okay, how many have we killed? I've killed 3 now, right? Already? Yeah, we're owning this guy. Oh, we are low on spell slots. That's fine, we're just gonna continue to spam into him because why not? Why is like melee in specific? No, it's not. Why? 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 I will ascend. Oh, okay. Hold jump. Oh my. Come on. Holy shit, dude. Loot him? What do we get? Parasite? Let's go, baby. Yeah, I mean, we win, right? As long as, we just gotta keep Jahira alive is important. But yeah, I think different classes are better at different things. Like, I think Marshall, grabbing all the Marshall guys for this fight in particular is, like, always gonna be the play, probably. Oh, is there any way I can jump? Oh! Yeah, we go here. Like that. Yeah, we can shoot some arrows. Get some damage down. Oh, this thing's like useless at this point. I mean, I guess he was useless in the first place, but you know. Yeah, the sword is like probably the worst companion in the game. Oh my god, look at this guy. He's got places to be. My friend, you are not welcome here. Oh! Attack. Alright. Yeah, we're not using that. Oh, what should you see on it? You're not even worth my key points. Whatever, I don't really care if I go prone, to be honest with you. We'll have these two just like play protector here, I guess. And by these two, I mean the sword and the monk.
My path be true.
Yeah, and I can kind of just jump down because I have like damage negation. Okay. Okay, okay. Wow, thank you, Jahira. Thank you for your contributions to this fight. Just getting stunned and then going invisible. Like, her 3 turns are like, transforms into Panther, gets stunned, and then goes invisible. Thank you. Can I get there? Yeah, we can get there. Yeah, we'll reckless. No reason not to. I'll just end turn. Just, I don't know, man. I'll just do this. Is this the last guy? This is the last guy, right? Where? Oh, he's okay. This is the last guy. Oh, I guess that guy died. Okay. Yeah, we'll kill this guy right now. Alright. Easy stuff.
Isabel, are you all right? I'm fine. But they don't discover. We're in more danger than I knew. If something happens to me, why does a man like us, now that we have you, no more?
Oh yeah, we can't do the, we can't like cleanse the land from the shadow curse or whatever because Halson is dead.
Can't slow down.
Fist Marcus.
What's inside?
I don't want to fist Marcus. I don't want to fist your mom. Painted mirror. Dude, my upstairs neighbors. I'm so happy I'm moving out of here. It's actually amazing. Imagine living in a shitty small apartment. Couldn't be me. Won't catch me doing that. Bust of Ketherick.
A bust of Ketherick Thorn.
Yo, he does not look like that at all. What the fuck? He's an ugly old man. Bottle. Okay. I do have another parasite. I don't know where I'm at with like.
What's next, I wonder?
This is good. This is good. Do I want to invest in Karlach? Honestly, I kind of don't. I kind of don't care.
Still alive.
I'm gonna do this. If anything, I would invest in Gale before I invest in. Ah, shit. Should I invest in Karlach? Dude, the Marshall trio is kind of pog. I'm not even gonna lie. Speak to the Harpers outside of the last light. Yeah, we get it. Okay. I don't really care to loot any of this shit. Oh, let's talk to this guy down here. Why did Blizzell jump up? Oh, let's talk to Jahira.
Traitors among us. I trust that you will. A search burden. Then speak. They have me slaying gods or laying. We fight, we die, and we just hope that Just be on my way. Something's on my mind.
If you have an alternative in mind, please do propose it. Flame color. That's your name, isn't it? We found.
This is no physical ailment. It is a spiritual malaise.
You hear me, don't you, sir? You might not be able to answer. No idea, I'm afraid. There were a century locked and... But you're not alone, sir. We're here with you. And I'm sure if you know how to get through to him, don't hesitate.
Oh, medicine is wisdom, isn't it?
Whatever comes.
Shadowheart. You're up, baby.
Flame.
This is no physical ailment. It is a spiritual malaise. The man's mind has been gripped by the shadow.
Did you hear that, sir?
Without a reminder of who he is, of what he held dear, his mind will remain lost to the darkness.
This was in his pocket. If he does, he isn't sane.
Okay.
His fingertips sport calluses and toughened skin, as if from manual labor, or playing a stringed instrument, perhaps.
What I won't do.
Worn letter. Catatonic. What is this called? It's like rescue our yeah. Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Have a lot on my mind.
All right. Back to the YouTube videos.
Support had as an ability that people would bitch about it. I remember, I'm not gonna say a name. I remember when Junker Queen came out, and a certain streamer was crying that Junker Queen had anti-nade on their ult. And they were like, oh, support should only have anti-nade. This shouldn't be given to a tank. It's like, what? And then another example, I'm going to talk about Hog. Hog didn't need to get his one-shot nerf. That was
Wait, who was that streamer? Was that ML7? That sounds like some ML7 shit. Dude, I don't know. ML7 is like smart with a lot of like support stuff, but I don't know why his Overwatch 6 was kind of garbage. About like balancing the game.
many answers.
I think flats is usually pretty based. Frito is probably the most based out of like all the supports. Or supports out of all the, what's it called? Like Overwatch people that I know. Sam is okay. His like 5v5 thing right now is like kind of silly to me. Or sorry, the 6v6 like arguments or whatever is kind of silly to me. Oh no, Jake is probably the most based. Jake is amazing. Where am I going right now? What is this? I'm not gonna fight somebody, am I? Yeah, Flats is pretty big. Like, most of the people that come on the Group Up podcast tend to be pretty based. Even for, oh, there's like all these traps. The fuck? Jesus. We'll go here. Even just for like crescent moon earring. What is this? Selûnite amulet. Oh my god. Oh wait, no, she wears a... Who is Selûnite? I forget. I was gonna say Shadowheart's gonna be creaming. What does this look like? Oh, this one looks pretty cool. What do I have on right now? I like it. No, this one feels more monkey. Actually, this one feels like a druid. I think this literally is a druid. Yeah, it's fucking the Halson's thing. Yeah, we'll get out of here. Crescent moon earring? I don't. Well, we'll drop that. We'll send that to camp. We'll do. Oh, that's not camp. I mean, these look pretty cool, but. You know. Do.
So hot, right? And it was Kiriko that was the problem because she would just, nade, make me invulnerable, cleanse me, save me every time. But what did they know?
Save me.
They nerfed Hug. Now let's look at Alari. Oh my god. don't nerf her ult, don't nerf this about her, because there's already many answers to her ult, such as cleanse, you know, such as eats, but it's the same with Hog. What answers you had for Hog is the same answers you had for Alari ult. So why the fuck are we nerfing Hog but not Alari? You get what I'm saying here? It's like very like.
The Hog one's
not
kind of
even
easy for
two
cleanse. Because like, so what would you have done to cleanse then to make it better?
Cleanse, I guess, just have a cleanse not make you invulnerable. Especially, I think how I would have nerfed Kiriko myself is when she TPs, she can't cleanse herself with a TP. And for her, in order to TP, she shouldn't be able to, let's say she's taking damage, right? She can't TP. Unless the damage stops within a second. So therefore, there's this like,
Wouldn't that feel terrible though to play?
I mean, you have another support to help you. And it stops you from, you know, making hero plays and carrying the game like a DPS tank and a support at the same time.
Is there any character that takes damage and their ability gets turned off in the game already?
Well, yeah, Sombra.
Well,
But, like, I'm trying to say, what Sombra?
Like you can, so like they go to hack onto you, and then you can
just
interrupt
damage
it. So like that's you counterplaying their thing.
Ability.
I
But
wouldn't
what I'm
say,
trying
like-
to say is,
Yeah.
1 second, let me finish, and then you can say what you have to say. But yeah, she should be
Oh, yeah, I
able to
talked
cleanse
to-
herself
yeah, I
and
just
then
talked to these
TP,
guys,
because
right?
you know she can't take damage during that cleanse. So then she would be allowed to TP, right? So therefore, you can actually infinitely force both abilities instead of, oh, she TP'd, find her again, oh, cleanse, guys, Kira, she TPs again. It's like, what the fuck is that? And on top of that, she has another support hero to help her. Why do I have to go to the fucking moon and back to get one support? Especially like Mercy. Why the fuck has she got a wang ability? Like, why is it not one direction?
Okay.
How does that make sense for me?
They give her tap
So-
strafe.
So I'm gonna like just rein it back in a little bit and try and bring our
Wang.
focus back. No, I want you guys. It's my job to sort of to direct it. So you go whatever you want to go, and I'll let you guys know when we're going too much in one way. So yeah, I think you know we've kind of alluded to where
Dude,
the
my
power of
upstairs
certain
neighbors
supports
are
is frustrating for
ridiculous.
tanks. I think that the point that I want to focus on is the interesting one that Spylo made of like, and I think Flats made it earlier as well, where it's like, well, we've
these guys are
shifted
such
from
low level.
having an off tank or a second tank.
Am I like
and that
not
power is
supposed to be
kind of
level
distributed.
7? I don't
And you guys are all
understand.
saying that you feel like the support role has inherited a lot of that power, where they're now support, DPS, and tank. But is that in some ways what we want every hero to be able to do? Like every role to be able to do is kind of like, that was kind of the promise of Overwatch 2, wasn't it? That like everyone can carry and pop off, and you don't have to worry about your teammates because, you know, in Overwatch 2 it's all open to you. But it sounds like you guys feel that that's not actually open to tank, that your ability to try and pop off is so muted most of the time you're just trying.
I generally think that's really like a much better philosophy instead of being like insanely reliant on your teams in the way that you were, or sorry, on your teammates in the way that you were in Overwatch 1. The only problem is like supports in the end are always going to be the only class that can heal other people, except for like barring like extreme circumstances such as like soldier heals, and then what, fucking Junker Queen can like shout to get you like a 50 extra health or whatever. I feel like this is like, but I do think it's better than like the oh my god, what are the words that I'm saying? It's yeah, I guess you kind of need to be I feel like you need to give DPS and tanks more tools than like supports get, and supports currently just get like the best tools, and they heal you, so they dictate like so much of the stuff going on in the game. I feel like tanks need to be the people who are decisively creating space. I actually, as much as I complain about it, I actually almost do think that tanks, you should never be able to win a 2v1 against a tank. Barring, like, extreme circumstances, like ultimates and stuff like that. I think that you should generally be losing 2v1s to a tank, actually. As much as I, Tanks should be, like, they should have a lot of impact. I think that tanks should have, like, slightly more impact than other players. As much as I didn't want that to be the case in the past, I think I do want it to be the case now. Because tanks need to be able to, like, play the game and have fun. You know? Oh, I should rage, shouldn't I? I should have done this last turn, but you know.
Trying not to die.
I mean, to
And a
be
lot
fair,
of the.
sorry,
go ahead.
man. You go.
No,
Well, I was
you're
gonna say, like, if you wanted to make balance changes to certain tanks, you could add a self heal or, I know this is like ridiculous to say, but invulnerability. For example, Winston. You know, if we're gonna allow supports to have 2 escapes, why the hell does Winston not have 2 jumps? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's. But then, like, you guys are like, oh my god, I should be able to survive my own. No, you shouldn't. If a tank wants to go for you, you should have help from your team to survive that. You shouldn't be able to outplay me because
Oh
you're
my
in
God,
fucking in the
Jesus
sky flying
Christ.
away, or you TP through walls every time. But yeah, that's just my opinion.
I think
So
the problem
Stylo,
is
go
like
ahead.
ease of application is the problem. I think it's like it's how easy it is to do a lot of these things, which makes it really difficult. And I also think that going to really Yeatl's shout out to the Wrecking Ball video, which I really enjoyed. It's some things just haven't aged as well in Overwatch 2. Like certain design aspects haven't aged as well. Like we have too many tanks that have aspects that aren't as
Alright, whatever,
useful,
fuck you, bro.
that aren't as dynamic. Like think about what Reinhardt, as bad as Reinhardt has felt at times, at least the pin change happened and the double fire strike, and that's kept him relevant. Imagine Reinhardt with Overwatch 1 charge. Awful, like unplayable, right? Even Winston with the right click. Zarya is still not the best, but at least she's got more options with her bubbles. And then there's heroes like Ball. What does Ball have to deal with CC, right? He doesn't have the second tank to pull attention elsewhere. It's just the Ball, right? And so there's too many characters, tanks specifically, in Overwatch 2 that haven't received enough changes to be able to deal with more of the attention. Whether that's more dynamics with range. I'm a big mobility creep guy. I think mobility creep usually, if we're gonna have any type of creep, a little bit of mobility creep is good. But I think like that's the problem, right? Is you don't have ways of counterplaying and avoiding things, and I think that's why it feels so bad. And then the last thing on top of that is that a lot of the times when it comes to why the other reasons besides support, why tank can feel really bad, is the same thing. It's the Overwatch 1 designs, but it's the DPS designs that are problematic. We don't need Bastion anymore. We don't need Bastion turret anymore. I don't know why that hero exists with the turret, the damage that he does. Why is that a thing? We don't have 2 tanks to bust through anymore. Why is, like, obviously Reaper is a big one. Like the guy, I played Reaper the other day. It was Shambali, 3rd point attack. Just for fun, quick play, It was miserable because they didn't have the tank that I could shoot. It's too open. My mobility sucks. My teleporter sucks. But then if I'm playing into a Winston that's playing on like Oasis University, it feels ridiculous. It's so easy to exist and get value with a character.
Are we serious? Do I just like AFK? What the fuck? This is such a stupid mechanic. Oh my god. Like you just can't do anything. He's in fucking Sanctuary the whole game. Jesus Christ. It's just so dumb. Can't reach destination? Miss. Stunned. Okay.
You know, you've got Junkrat that kind of falls into that to a lesser extent. Snipers, as Ida was talking about. I think Pharah, Torbjorn. There's a lot of characters in Overwatch 2 that are just as one-dimensional as they were in Overwatch 1. And those happen to be the characters that feel really, really bad for tanks to deal with. Whether it's I can't reach that character, or that character just melts me by just existing, or that character rock, paper, scissors me and just, it takes no skill. It's the cheese aspect. And I think, you know, as annoying as characters like Sojourn can be at times, at least there's some sort of dynamic there. They're not just one thing, I exist to make your life miserable. Sojourn with a mercy pocket, that's a different story.
Great take, great take. I think really well explained. I think one thing that we're seeing here is the hangover of not actually paying enough foresight into what will happen when we switch over to 5v5. And I think that myself and others, when we did switch over to 5v5, we were all kind of like, wow, this is actually surprisingly good, right? It was like, we thought it would require more changes, because what they showed us was not a lot, to be frank. I'm not trying to be mean to the devs or whatever, but like, when they switched over, they didn't actually do that much in terms of changes. They were like, we've got a Sombra rework and a Bastion rework, guys. We're reworking the Sombra again, the Bastion rework, we've seen how that went. Orisa rework, whatever, everyone still hates her, right? So we did like these few things, but we never really fundamentally addressed the role or anything like that. And when we launched, because the tanks were giga buffed, as Flat said, supports felt upset. They got their buffs, right? And they got their buffs instead. But now we're seeing that lack of addressing the fundamental issues kind of tear at the seams, I think, because now we've given supports multiple buffs, and on top of that, we gave them new heroes. I think is another element that we haven't necessarily mentioned yet, but I almost wonder, you know, the state of support at the start of launch of Overwatch 2, people would have probably just generally felt better had there been more, like, had we launched Kiriko, Life Liari, because part of the complaints was, well, I only have, you know, 5 or 6 supports to play, and they get hard dove. But now if you'd had Kiriko, you had Life who's like immune to diving as well quite a lot, and you have Iliari, who's just a cannon in herself. You probably wouldn't have seen those same complaints. So we've almost kind of, I fear the devs have kind of overcompensated a little bit from what the feedback they got early, without actually holistically addressing the problems that would inevitably come when we've made such a big change. It's not really even talked about. We made such a big change, but we didn't make big changes to the game to match that, I think. So I think that what we're seeing is like, that's tearing at the seams, and at some point we need to find an answer. That's kind of why I brought you guys on the call, because I'm like, well, who's got the answer? Like, who's got the ideas for like how we repair this moment? That's kind of where it feels like tank is breaking apart almost. Like, I don't want to see another Overwatch 1 moment where it's just like tank user instant, because nobody ever wants to play this role, and like, it's so miserable and the reputation of it is so bad that the role just deads, right? And then what did we do? We had to remove a tank to try and fix that. So I brought the squad here, the brain trust here. One more word before we'll get into the tanks itself, but one more word, because we've alluded to it, but the DPS role. We've talked a lot about supports, but Yil, you probably have something to say about, for example, the ability for someone to switch to Sombra and kind of make your life miserable. Like, do you feel like there's the DPS role, but also the counter swapping that we haven't directly talked about as well?
Am I wrong? Fuck. If I go up here, are the, whatcha-doosy guys gonna come after me? Like the plant guys? I think they might. I, forget, but we got the Pixie Blast on.
Right, so I think the problem is there's a lot of things that that you can't outplay, and if you can't outplay it, I think it's broken. So, for example, what I said earlier about Sombra basically hacking you in Viz, you can't really, it happens so quick that it's really hard to react to and stop the hack. And I think that is problematic for example, tanks like Ball or Doomfist. I played Doomfist recently and it actually wasn't that bad, but Ball is really bad where you just get hacked going for an engagement. But not only that, snipers, for example, like if you're playing any of the tanks that don't have a shield, for example, Zarya, how's your team going to take space and rotate on Havana when they have a Widow on the high ground? If you don't have the better Widow, you don't. And I feel like a lot of the problem is just those problem DPS. There's also the problem supports, but since you asked about DPS, I think it's snipers and I think it's Sombra. You get rid of those, and the game becomes a lot more fun, in my opinion. Except for the people that play the snipers. Because my hot take is, long-range one-shots don't belong in the game. I don't know how they'll balance Widowmaker. They could probably do a Hanzo not having a one-shot, but like, I don't think it belongs in the game because before anything else, Overwatch is a strategy game. And how do you play around the long-range one-shot with one tank? It's really hard. So that's basically my argument.
Flats, I'm curious on your take on this because you're kind of, I really feel you going through the emotions right now.
God, okay. First off, I think I'm going crazy. Like actually, because I think we had this exact discussion, like in this spot about 2.5 years ago, when we were talking about post roll queue, and how we were promised all these characters gonna get changes after roll queue, and it never happened. And then we got to 5v5, and it never happened. And it's like, how many more times is this gonna happen? Oh God. Anyways, existential crisis, I guess, going on over here. But
I feel that on the daily.
The reason why I kind of disagree with it is because I don't actually think Overwatch is a strategy game. I know that's kind of like how it's become, but that's why GOATS was so bad. Okay, don't get me wrong, GOATS, if it was only for a little bit, would have been super fun, and people enjoyed it, and it was some of the most fun Overwatch I've ever played, and it was super complex at the high level, and like you could lose games off of a single cooldown, and to like giga nerds like us, that was awesome. But to the average player, it was awful, and like there were so many things wrong, like fundamentally. Like the DPS role disappeared for like 2 years. You know, you could have Dante on Tracer getting outplayed by a 2,200 gold Brig player who somehow managed in 1 week to get to top 500. Do you guys remember that? Remember that guy? Yeah, that guy's outplaying Dante on Tracer. So we've had all these things like kind of come through, but like the average player for Overwatch wants this game to be an FPS game. They just don't want it to be Valorant FPS game. But so like you need things like snipers, right? Like one shots are what are part of FPS games, and it's not a bad thing. But I also agree with you in that like there are problem characters, and it's like got to the point where there's just so many things that are like piled up. And I think May is coming around. Remember May was like kind of strong, but like not really at the same time. So then they took her damage down, but then gave her more CC, and now like she's like slowly getting more damage. We're gonna come full circle, and she's gonna get like damage back and CC. It's coming. I talked about it like a month ago. It's definitely gonna come. Then we have Bastion, which just blows up like half the tanks, and then especially like Winston. Like Winston is like the keystone to this game right now. And like when Winston's playable, a lot of the tanks are playable because like not when Winston's OP dominant, right? Like in Overwatch League that might be different, and like high level play, like Winston might be more dominant than like in ladder. But like there's so many, like we talked about rock paper scissors, there's so many counter picks and so many things that it's like almost like we're back in GOATS, where like it's better just walk out on Orisa because you're gonna get forced onto it anyways by other picks. So you just walk out on GOATS right away because like, yeah, you could run something else, but like what's the point? Because if they walk out on GOATS, you go back into spawn, you swap anyways. So I don't know, like I think the reason why Overwatch 2 felt so good when it came out is because it felt like an FPS game. And it felt like you could shoot people, and it didn't feel like you were shooting shields all day long, because that's what the most FPS players hated about Overwatch 1 was the like stacks of shields, and you know, you'd sit there and hit your buttons for 10 minutes until the shields finally break, and then woo, you get to shoot 2 bullets, and then oh, that shield's back. So I agree with you, but like this is what kind of why like early on I said we're kind of like just screwed. I don't see a way out at this point. Like we're so twisted up in this at this, like someone has to fall, and I think we know who has been chosen as the fall man, and it's the lowest population of players, because let's remember at the end of the day, this is a for-profit company that wants to make money, and if the support players and DPS players are the highest groups, and I'm sure they have data that shows who buys the most skins, and I have this weird suspicion that I'd probably support players buy the most skins. Keep them happy, keep the DPS players happy, tank players, smallest population. Sorry, you're just gonna have to bite the bullet on that one.
Very cynical.
Force
Very
psychology.
cynical. Go ahead. Sorry.
Maybe force psychology, just like I don't know, like do people enjoy swapping Bastion, Reaper, Torbjorn? Like at the end of the day, I mean,
I think
obviously
people
on
enjoy
some sort of-
winning. They enjoy winning.
Right,
They
right.
do
No, I get that,
because,
but my
dude, I kind of know what he means, but unfortunately at lower ranks and shit, yeah, they actually do. I don't understand it either, but like, holy fuck, man. Yeah, lower ranks are like, they are, oh man, what's the word for like they are like over flooded with like, holy shit, like, just like the low skill garbage heroes like Bastion and Reaper and shit, and Moira. Oh my god. It is every game, Orisa.
point being is that like the irony is that like if you play Winston really well versus counters or whatever, you can still win. It just feels terrible, right? The question is does it feel as bad for the other end? Did they still feel like my favorite part is jumping the backline, the Reaper's chasing me across the map? You know, that probably doesn't feel great for him, but he feels like that's what I have to do. So I wonder with like so many of these cheese things, whether it's like, you know, sleeping this or discording that or going Reaper, Bastion, or going, is it almost like where like if any sort of proper balance makes it more fun for the other side as well? Because Flats is right. It's like Tank's a minority, and it's always going to be a minority. I think obviously there's been a little bit of a content drop for Tank recently, which is fair. But could it be also that if we just made these tanks or these DPS and support characters less valueful? Remember the tier list we did years ago, SVB, value floor, value thing? If we made some of these tweaks here, would it feel just as good for the people getting tweaked as it is for the tanks that have to deal with the tweaks?
So I want to say something quick, then I want to let Yeatle talk, because Yeatle had something to say. But I think to your point about what does it feel as good, I think what feels good is autonomy in your video game. I think that's what those players have that the tank players don't. Because if you're the one who swapped Reaper, you feel like you have it in your power to win this game, right? If you're like, oh shit, their Winston's rolling us, I can go Reaper. And even if you have to chase that guy across the map, at the end of it, you're like, I beat him, therefore I win, and therefore I am in control of winning my game. As opposed to the tank player who's like, okay, I'm trying to play really well, but even if I play really well, this guy's going to do this and chase me around, and I lose control of my character. Sometimes literally, you lose control of your character, and sometimes metaphorically, you kind of lose control.
But why is it autonomy for countering the enemy tank and not the enemy DPS and supports? You know, why is it always the tank?
Because it's the
I
one
swear
guy.
there's something psychological, you know? Like,
There is.
Because if that's the thing. Because if I
Do
go
you
Reaper,
notice?
do I not enable the enemy DPS supports to do whatever they want? And that's exactly how you win games, by playing into counters. It's just enabling your team to do whatever they want because they're so busy chasing you. But what is it with like the Overwatch 2 player psychology to where like that's the play, you know? Like, because the funny thing is in lower and mid ranks, which that's my expertise. I coach all ranks, right? Bronze, silver, gold, platinum. There is more tank focus in lower ranks than there is in higher ranks, because that's all they know how to do. And that's why you see more Orisa and more Ramatra and less Winston and more Reaper and more Bastion and Torbjorn. Part of that is because, as we've already established, those characters are freaking easy to play. That's just how it is. There's value and skill ceilings, of course, but it's just significantly less than any other character. But
Can
the
I
other
ask you
thing is it feels easy, yeah.
So my question to you is, because like this is like your specialty, like this is what you know. Have you noticed, and this is kind of my assumption, have you noticed that almost all the metal rank players know the counters? They know everything.
Oh, yeah.
Like they know,
Oh, yes.
they go Winston, you go Bastion, right?
Yes.
But nobody knows the opposite. Like you
No.
see a backline with a Brig, like you probably play Rhine into that. If they're frontlining on Brig, I walk in on Rhine and just two-tap them. Like what are you doing? But they don't know the reverses. They have no clue. They only know how to counter the tank, but nobody knows the reverse. And it's like, I think you're right. I think there is some psychology with it. And I think it's easier because it's only one person versus two. And so it's like, yeah, they have a Brig. I could probably walk over them with Rhine because we have a Lucio. But they also have a Kiriko, and I'm scared of that. I don't know how to beat that. Like, you know? It's
Yeah. And the thing with Brig is there's at least two things you could be doing at all time. You could play a little bit more brawl focused, shield bash out. You could control an angle, control a flank. You could play anti-dive. And that dynamic is very important because that prevents her from being an OTP. She could do multiple things. And that when you have characters that don't have that dynamics, that's when you start to have the rock paper.
I want to take it to Yeatle, because Yeatle had something he wanted to say. Yeatle.
It's actually a little bit further back into what we were talking about,
Go for
but
it.
I think Overwatch is a strategy game before an FPS game compared to all the other FPS games. Like, it's not even close to like the strategy aspect of it. But I also think that you could still take 1v1s, and that FPS aspect is still there. However, specifically what I was talking about are one shots being Widowmaker, Hanzo Sojourn with a mercy damage boost. I think those things are like, there's only so many heroes in the game that can actually beat that, right? And I think the only like other hero other than like playing Widow back, playing Hanzo back, is the tank. If that tank picks the specific tank, like, hey, we're gonna go Reinhardt and we're all just gonna run to this left side or whatever it is. I think the problem is how hard it is to outplay that for most of the heroes in the game. That's what I want to say.
I'm gonna be honest. I mean, it does take a little bit of strategy and FPS to achieve what you want. But tank is like the least rewarded for having good aim as well. Because if I hit every shot on Sigma, it doesn't fucking matter. If you're of Mercy in the Sky healing, you can out-heal me. Even if I land every shot. You know, it goes hand in hand with both. But, yeah, the rock, paper, scissors, I guess people just do it because, you know, tank is just the easiest target to shoot because, you know, we're the biggest. And it's very easy because I've got like 300 games this season, and I tell you, at least 4 people counter me every time. I swap, boom, they swap. I swap, boom, they swap. Like literally after every death. And it's just the worst fucking thing ever. It's just horrible. Yeah.
I think you're also streamers is a little bit worse than the average player,
I mean,
but I agree.
Yeah, that's true.
It's bad even in quick play. Even in quick play, like that's basically all I do. Like people are like so sweaty and weird with it that like I Rissa Reaper Bastion's chasing me around the map just because I want to play Winston. And again, I can still win the game, but it's just not as fun. It's just not as fun.
I mean, for sure, there are ways of playing against it, but at the end of the day, if 4 or 5 people want you dead, they're gonna get you. Doesn't matter how safe you play. They're eventually gonna get you, and then it's very easy for them to get you, considering they're playing, you know, the advantage.
So you guys are giving some hot takes. I'll give a potential hot take before we head into, because I want to talk about specifics on tank and you know, like each of the characters. But I've been playing a lot of Dota recently. Fitzy was here in chat earlier. Me and him duo Dota like every night after I stream. We play some games. I tried to get Yeedle into it, but he's a League of Legends player, and it was too like, he was like, "What is going on, man? I don't know what's going on." And the tank problem is universal across most games, right? Like in almost every game, nobody really wants to play tank because absorbing stuff for others is shitty, right? And it feels kind of bad. But I think it's interesting that a lot of the discussion has come around, well, tank is the one compared to the other roles who have duos. So like that's why they will always suffer. Like they will always be the role that's most miserable. But what's interesting is that that's not necessarily the case in other games where like there's the one person who's burdened with something. So to give the MOBA example, like you'll have in Dota the safe lane. I think in League of Legends it's called the ADC. Yeedle, correct me if I'm wrong. The carry, right? The carry role.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, ADC.
ADC, right? So the job of this hero, for those who are unfamiliar with MOBAs, is basically like the rest of everyone is going to enable you for the first like 15, 20 minutes of the game, right? Your job is to get farmed up, to get a bunch of items because there's money in MOBA. So you got to get lots of money, and you're basically babysat for the first 15, 20 minutes. There's even in Dota, there's what's called a hard support. So there's support and there's hard support, and then there's your safe lane, there's your mid, and there's your off lane. Your off lane is your tank, mid lane's your like mid lane. So there's a literal job of the hard support to make your life easy as the safe lane. Now there's a lot of pressure on the safe lane, but the responsibility is, the trade-off is, well, if we spend 15 minutes pocketing you, at the end of the game, you got to carry us. You got to be the guy who wins the game for us. So that's a lot of pressure, right? It's a lot of pressure that the entire end game comes down on you. And if you look at other things, it's not necessary that the person who has a lot of pressure is the person who's also the most miserable. Actually, usually it's the opposite. Usually that's the star player, right? The star player, if you look at, for example, real sports, I don't know American stuff, guys, so I'm sorry, but Salt will feel me when I talk about football. It's like everyone wants to be the striker, right? Everyone wants to be the guy who's scoring goals. Nobody wants to be the goalkeeper. That's like, you eventually convert to being a goalkeeper later on when you're a kid, because like nobody wants to be that guy. Nobody wants to be the defenders. Everybody's like, I want to score goals. I want to be the hero. Why is Overwatch so different in that way? Why is it that like the one role that
have Will? I don't even know. Oh, there he is. William. Nah, I think we keep everything, right? Is there anything that makes like difficult terrain? I don't think so. Like I already have the one thing, I think. Well, why is Will here? Why? Why? Okay. Yes, we're gonna get this waypoint. And we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. Will's gonna TP to the waypoint. Now we're gonna go back. Okay. Dude, when you like get new camp members, they just like spawn on fucking rooftops and shit above you. I don't understand. I've still never legitimately fought this guy before. Okay. Yeah, let's do this. Oh, 21. Okay. 18. Do I have inspiration? Well, I have 4 inspiration. Come on. Let's go. Nice. Very good. $1,100 XP, baby. And we get a fuck ton of gold from this place, too. These guys, I don't think these guys carry anything.
That's like the most pressure is also the most miserable. Why is tank not the star role, right? Like why is the game not be made in a way where if we're gonna ask this one role to bear the burden of like you must dictate the engagements, you must eat all the crap for the rest of your teammates, why is it also like the least powerful role? Why is it like, why is that not the star role? Why don't we want tank to be the role that everyone gravitates towards, where all the people who are like, oh, I want to be the carry, I want all the glory, go be the tank, take all the pressure, but you get to decide the win too. Okay, that's the trade-off. Well, at the moment it feels like the trade-off is you get fucked and the best thing you get in return is a quick queue time. Like that's it. You get blamed, you get focused, you get fucked. Okay, I guess we gave you a quick queue time in exchange. So like my hot take is like, if we're gonna go to 5v5, if we're gonna make this one role have the pressure of 2 players and inarguably like the pressure of the entire lobby, then okay, you should be the star then. You're the guy who's like really popping off. I'll drop it there. So anyone can chime in where they feel. Flats has been nodding with me, but maybe, you know, maybe I'm talking to a biased crowd here. I'm preaching to the choir.
I mean, that was my take going into Overwatch 2, and everyone was like, oh, nerf the tanks. Like, no! Like, you guys are crazy! Like, yeah, like, this was the original argument back in the day. This was my actual argument when people said support was weak. I said, bring support up. Don't bring tank down. That's gonna have the wrong effect. And it did! So, like, that's why I feel like I'm losing my mind, because all these things, it just ends up being a few months early. Like, I was back in season 4 saying like, hey guys, like tank's going downhill very quickly, and like we're seeing it, and I got waves of support players screaming like, you don't know anything, stupid tank player, and now here we are, right where I said we were gonna go, and it just gets tiring. Like I'm genuinely getting tired of it at this point. But you're completely right. But you want to know the answer? It's because people are so honed in on tank diffs. Ask any middle rank player. Every game they load up, somebody says tank diff. They can't see anything else. But meanwhile, you stick a GM DPS player in that game, I'm sure as shit that tank ain't gonna do a damn thing. Like, they're just gonna kill everyone. Same thing if you put a support player in. And it's like everyone's so obsessed with it because it's the big HP target that's running at you. And in season 1, it was Zarya originally, and everyone hated Zarya. And everyone was like, oh my god, this character is gonna kill us all. And she was, right? Well, like, that was because Zarya being really strong also had some other things with it. Like, you know, support was like kind of starting to catch up. Like, Kiri was good, and that was what ended up happening with Hog. Now, Salt said earlier that the one-shot for Hog wasn't actually the problem. And actually, you know, in some ways, he might be right. But the problem is, though, is we have this problem in Overwatch, and it's really bad. And it's the Heroes Fantasy. And they will not touch Heroes past the Heroes Fantasy. It's the same reason why Sojourn didn't get nerfed or one-shot for the longest time. Sojourn still kind of has a one-shot with a Mercy Pocket. Like, we just don't talk about it that much because she's not that strong right now. But, like, there's always the Heroes Fantasy that's playing into it. And I don't think there would have been a world where they would have nerfed Suzu the way that Salt was saying before. Like, it just wouldn't happen. And so maybe it even goes all the way back to a design philosophy, because we create these heroes with cool mechanics or cool things. We don't think about the after effect of how they interact with other characters in the game, and we can't get rid of that. So we've had this problem over time of like characters getting introduced and they have some cool shtick to them, but like we don't think about how it's going to affect the rest of the roster. And so Hog was unfortunately the martyr because you couldn't take away the hero fantasy of Kiriko. And unfortunately, so like Hog got put off into the ranch. And like there was nothing to do. Like that was legitimately, in my opinion, correct answer. Like there was no other answer, which I'm saying was the best answer. There just wasn't a better one. And so we're gonna have that problem, and it's only gonna get worse as more characters come out, because there's just this this philosophy that will not change of, one, you know, like we have to keep the hero's fantasy for every character, and two, the balance is really bad. So like I don't know anymore.
So we will get to Hog in a moment. In fact, I might line up Hog or Bull. I'll get Hog or Bull early when we're gonna go over to talk about the heroes themselves. Spilo, any words from you on kind of just this whole wider issue here?
Yeah.
Because you talk about this kind of stuff a lot on your content.
Yeah, I think there's like twofold with Tank. I think part of it is just I do think that there's a little bit of the MMO mindset with Tank, where it's a certain, you know, I'm the beef, I'm the protector, I'm not exactly the DPS on the raid boss kind of a thing, right? So I do think that that's where maybe people get kind of the wrong impression, where we should be beating on Tank, Tank should be taking the beating, not necessarily doing a lot. And I think that's definitely flawed in the first-person shooter. And I think that's always been Overwatch 2's tricky part, right? Is it's like, it is a first-person shooter, it's also a MOBA, it has like, I mean, it even has the MMO, right? Like the strict support, the strict tank. It's confusing. So there's a lot of baggage that comes along with that. And I also think that when it comes to like the fact that Tank has to deal with so much, I think is just simply the ease of application of so many of the worst. Like I said, Tank always interacts with the worst of what Overwatch has to offer, whether that's the sleep dart, nade, Discord orb, right? May, Cassidy. Like, for example, the Cassidy grenade. Everyone was crying about Cassidy grenade, and it got nerfed, it got nerfed, it got nerfed. Guess who the Cassidy grenade still hurts really bad? Tanks. And the funny thing is, it's not even all the tanks, just a few of the tanks. Like Wrecking Ball completely shuts down Wrecking Ball. Maze Freeze, nobody likes Maze Freeze. Nobody wanted Maze Freeze. May didn't need the freeze. It was a nerf to Maze Freeze, except for Wrecking Ball, right? Or Diva, for example. So I think that what we need to do is you need to look at some of the Javelin, another Marissa Javelin, right? Just spam it on tank, right? It's the ease of application problem, I think. And I think when we talk about tweaks, even if it's not like fixing systemically the problem, like
what do I
Classic
do?
Six,
I
maybe
want to
that's
grab a
just
Carl
unfixable.
X.
But keeping the game still fun, keeping it enjoyable to an extent, I think you have to look at how some of these abilities interact with tanks. They did it with Sleep Dart, and I think you have to keep looking.
Okay, I like that. Saul, I'm gonna give you first up, but before I do, Yeetle, any last words on the sort of the bigger picture before we start getting into the nitty gritty?
I think going into Overwatch 2, they wanted to make tanks like the superstar of the lobby. They didn't want to make tanks just we take damage and eat all the CC and stuff. I think it was just like there's so many heroes and so many different variables that they didn't get it all right the first time, and it's still taken them a while to get it all, iron it all out. And I feel like it's you can go a couple different ways. Like I mentioned earlier, I think there's the broken aspects of things that you can't outplay. You can nerf.
When a weapon attack roll inflicts a condition, wielder gains arcane acuity. How many of these are gonna exist? Oh shit! I didn't realize how many. Okay. When you roll 2 or less of weapons, re-roll it, take the new result. No, I don't care. Do not deposit that into the chest, okay? Not a good idea. Drop. Isn't this like what we're looking at? Yeah, it's like a cool thing that we can... Well, hold on. Is this like invisibility? Shrouded and Shadow? Yeah, you get like invisibility essentially. We'll keep it around. When you deal damage with the cantrip, you gain arcane synergy. Okay, arcane acuity. This is like more attack rolls, right? +1 bonus to its spell attack rolls and spell difficulty class. Spell difficulty class. Does that mean that all my rolls? Oh wait, no. Okay, spell DC, I imagine makes it harder for you to hit then, right? Or is that wrong? Spellcaster ability modifier. I mean, that person that I was talking to about, like, Warlock cantrips or whatever, I feel like this perfectly synergizes with Warlock. Spellcasting ability modifier. Like, dude, imagine having 22 charisma. And then you also wear that robe that they were talking about. Shit, what was that robe they talked about? It's 3 p.m. Damn. I mean, these are Act 3 gloves. Oh my god, dude. I never got the Hill Giant Club. Can I go back to the Underdark? Oh no. I need to get the Hill Giant Club. Yeah, and Potent Robes. This is the other one. Rescue the Tieflings. Oh, I can still go to most places. Okay. Yeah, we haven't gotten, like, so far that I can't turn back at all. Okay. Dude, I have to pee so much. God damn it, it's so annoying. Whenever I drink, like, any, like, energy drink, I have to pee so much. Jesus. I also get more dizzy when I drink energy drinks. I honestly think I should just stop drinking them. I feel like they're just bad for me. I don't know if they just don't synergize well with my medications that I'm on, or like what goes on, but it just feels so shitty. So there's a couple things that I want to check out. At an altar near Saloon. Okay, hold on. Saloonite Outpost. Yeah, whatever. Fuck off. What is this altar? Oh, I never came here? What the fuck? That means the Minotaurs are still here then. Is it up here? There's like some sort up here, right? Oh, this is it. Okay. Okay. There we go. We got 25 XP. Holy shit. Okay. Okay. This thing actually... Wait, excuse me? Oh, it's the melody or whatever. Okay. This is something, so you like equip it, use this, and then... Oh no, it stops shrieking if unequipped. Okay, the sword shrieks. All enemies within 6 meters of range have a 1d4 penalty to charisma, wisdom, and intelligence saving throws. Affected creatures receive an additional 1 to 4 thunder damage. Okay. These Minotaurs are kind of whatever. I mean, I guess we can just go kill them because it's free XP. There's no reason not to.
Those heroes, or you can go the other route of making the tanks able to outplay them better. Just to name an example, I know we're going to go into Hog soon, but like the Hog versus Ana interaction of sleep or anti getting you almost every time. What can Hog do about it? About not getting slept or not getting anti? He can't do anything. In Overwatch 1, it wasn't as big of a problem because you could get Matrix, you could get shielded, your other tank exists. Right now you got Cleanse, but that's it. You only have Cleanse. But yeah, that's my point. Either like you can start toning down all these heroes and how they're able to do these things, or you can start buffing the tanks or go back to 6v6. But yeah, that's all.
Many options, and I suppose that's the devil of the choice that the developers have to make. 4v4. Oh yeah, there's another option which is Flats. Is again, I'm very surprised he's come with this hot take now. He's like, drop the 4v4, let's go. Overwatch 3, the memes have begun again. Overwatch 3, when will it come?
Run it back.
Run it back, let's go. Okay, now let's talk specifically on all the tanks. And I'm gonna go to Roadhog first, just because not only because his Salt has been a very patient guy, he's been stewing, he's been cooking, he's got some shit to say. But also because Hog, we know, is gonna get some reworks. And today in the developer blog, they mentioned, I can't remember the bullet points of exactly what they wanted, but I think they were basically like, oh, he needs to have more stuff that helps the team, and we're going to take some of the power away from just the one shot and give it elsewhere. So Salt, you're already shaking your head. Firstly, the state of Hog now, and any word on what you read about the rework?
I haven't seen much, but yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah, what you said is what I've seen, but see, the problem with
should you want me to read really quick what they said about Hog?
Please, yes.
Okay, so what they said is Roadhog is currently undergoing the finishing touches that will release with his rework in Season 7's mid-season patch. Our broad goals for his rework are as follows. 1. Increase his ability to protect his team and claim space. 2. Maintain his overall identity and playstyle. 3. Move some of his power around so that his effectiveness isn't so tied to his one-shot potential. So that's basically what we're going to expect from Hog.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. After the nerf, well, let me start off like this. You know how pretty much every tank you use as a tool. For example, Reinhardt is a hammer, and then Roadhog is a screwdriver. You know, like the way I'm going, like you use different tanks to deal with different situations. And I think in Season 2, I remember Soldier and Mercy meta. That was hell on earth for every tank. It was not fun being 2 taps in the head, like bang bang, and you're dead. Doesn't matter what tank you're playing, you're dead. And the only necessary evil that existed was Hog, right? I think tank role should have a tank that is only for protecting your team and making space. Have another tank that, you know, supports your team as in like through heals or whatever, or bubbles them, you know? Or have another tank that has good kill potential. Why do we need every tank to follow this rule of make space, hold space, make space, hold space. That makes no sense to me at all, especially when supports can do everything. But why can't I do everything too if I want to pick a different hero, you know? And I think the problem with Hog as well, first of all, Ana players who, you know, I think is very, I don't want to be mean to Blizzard because I actually like the game fundamentally. Like, don't get, like, if Blizzard watches it, I like the game. Like, I'm just gonna say, I like the game fundamentally. But it's just horrible that Ana has two answers for one question. You know what I'm saying? Like, why does Hog have a heal that can be countered by sleep and nade? How does that make sense? I'm not talking about, there's a whole rock, you know, a cast of people that use abilities to counter too. Fair enough, whatever. But since Hog has lost his kill potential, right, the threat, there is no space making with him anymore. The only reason he's ever good is if you're playing Ilios well, you're playing certain maps. So I think, in general, I think it's a bad take to drive him towards a place where he just makes space and he's less one-shot orientated. I think it's really bad, actually, because we have tanks for that already. I think that they should, you know, give him back his kill potential, and he's fixed. I think, honestly, it's a skill issue for low elos if they complain about Hog. It is literally a skill issue. You can outplay Hog numerous ways: distance, positioning, jiggle, peeking, you know, baiting out hook. It's one ability. It's not that deep, bro. Like, stop crying about it. You've got plenty of supports. Life Weaver, you don't even have to aim. Click E, bro. As soon as I hook, click E. Boom. Answer, you know? So yeah, I think the fact that they've left Hog in this pit for so long, it's really embarrassing. Especially, it dropped off a lot of my friends, well, Hog players like Gibber. He doesn't play the game anymore because it was the character he loved. Like, I'm not saying make Hog OP, but make him viable, you know? Like, why, like, bro, they just, like, broke Hog's legs and just threw him in a ditch. Mafia style, you know? And then I'm just there like, oh, yeah, this is fun. But, yeah, I think the one-shot had a good threat. I guess, I don't know. The thing is, right now, another problem with Hog is his gun. I don't know if anyone plays Hog here, but his gun is very outdated. But the projectile of it and how it works and how the shotgun works. If you're going to remove a one-shot from a character who has a shotgun, right, okay, then, like, at least change the way his gun works. I haven't really thought about it. I don't know if they want to turn it into an SM, you know, like a minigun, like a heavy or whatnot. But it's just a very outdated M1 and M2. So yeah, that's what I have to say about Hog.
Yeah, I mean, I want to, you know, I'll let the others come in. We'll come back to you on the Hog as well. But if anyone else has any thoughts of what Salt says, anyone been playing Hog recently? You want to admit to that openly?
No, not crazy.
Yeah. I have morals.
I don't know if
yeah.
my parents will see this, so I can't say anything.
Yeah.
I think Roadhog is like just a classic example of like he does the thing, you know, and then either he does the thing and people hate it and he's meta, or he doesn't do the thing, and the Roadhog players cry because he's completely unviable. I know this might be a little spicy, but I think that's why I think the design is for. I think, like, when you look at something like a Bastion, that's all he does is he turret form, he shoot. That's it. So if we're talking about nerfing turret form, why does character all the Bastion means like what? If you do that, then you can't even play the character. That's my point. That's exactly my point. And I think the same thing goes with Roadhog. I don't think it necessarily needs to be more enabler, team support, make space. Roadhog walks around with like a little PVC.
Yeah, we can buy this. Probably worth.
shield. You know, I don't think let him do his own thing. Let him find his own unique threat. Like look at Junker Queen, right? Besides her AOE team speed, which to be fair is pretty useful, she does her own thing. You know, screw off. You know, like I'm doing my thing, right? Ramatra as well, right? You don't shield your team that much. It's more about I play for me, Like I create space by being a threat. But there's different ways that he's a threat. There's different utility that kind of works here and there. Hog, one shot, shoot you, and heal. That's it. Like there just isn't a lot to it. And I think that's part of the reason why he can feel either very, very powerful and very cheesy and anger-inducing, or terrible. Because either he one-shots or doesn't. There's no in between.
Yeah, it almost feels like Junker Queen is like the evolved version of Roadhog, right? It's like a Pokemon evolution. Sure. It's like Roadhog evolved into Junker Queen, into Overwatch.
And by the way, mechanical expression, right? We talked about, I think it was Flats that talked about it. Not enough, somebody talked about it. It was not enough satisfying mechanical outplay opportunities. Maybe it was Needle, I don't know. And that's it right there, right? Racy with Roadhog Hook, whether you play Roadhog or not, you have to admit, Hook is like one of the top 2 or 3 abilities in the game. It feels amazing to land a hook. It just feels so good to land a hook, right? So if we take that away,
I guess,
yeah, satisfaction-wise, it feels good to land a hook. It feels satisfying to land a Junker Queen knife, right? And I think that's like, we need to find ways of like giving more tank players that without taking away their identity.
I mean, yeah, a main flaw is as well is his hitbox. He's just a fat penguin walking around. Like, why is he so slow? Why is he so fat? It doesn't really make sense to me, since he has no damage threat or tankiness threat. I don't know. They need to look at him very carefully. I don't know. Blizzard has this issue where they are afraid of admitting mistakes most of the time. So like, so if this rework doesn't work, if it's not good, in my head I'm thinking, are they gonna change him or are they just gonna leave him? You know, that's a very scary, you know, thought for someone who actually genuinely used to only play the game because of Hog. You know, just like Spallo said, I used to plan the sickest hooks just for satisfaction wise. Like, yeah, I could hook someone in front of me.
I think I'm gonna have to restart my game. I don't know what's going on right now. Where's the stool? Is it this one? Oh? What the fuck? Hold on. No, don't print it out. Stop.
I wanted to share what I've discovered recently while exploring the Arcane Tower.
That chair leg could make for a fine weapon.
I came across this weapon accidentally in the middle of a fight. It's called the Club of Hill Giant Strength. I then loaded an earlier save and found that this stool will set your strength to 21 while you're sitting on it.
No. What's this?
What stool? Why doesn't my save have the stool? What the fuck?
I feel powerful.
Oh, did I just break it? I just fucking sat in it though. Is it? No, this has to be a different stool, surely. There must have been a stool that was like here at some point, and then it's just gone now. Because I just broke that one. Well, I sat in it, and then I broke it. Oh, it's right here. Stool of Hill Giant Drake. Oh my god. Okay. Hold on. Let me send it. Can't use, bro. Okay. Oh, okay. Dude, I was gonna freak the fuck out. Okay, so we got it. Yeah, you get what, 19 strength? Yeah, you get 19 strength just for equipping it. I mean, it's just a cool thing to, like, have. You could probably give it to, like, a bunch of different characters just to, like, increase their jump distance, you know, strength saving throws, stuff like that. Characters that, like, normally are just going to have low strength. It goes in your offhand as well. I feel like spellcasters or, like, someone like Astarion, people that, like, aren't proficient with shields or whatever probably benefit from it. But, yeah, it's pretty cool. Where do you get these? Gauntlets of Hill Giant Strength. Suggested level 12. Alright, well. Yeah, it seems like it's like... Well, it's in Act 3, but it seems like it's also in, like, late game. Potent robes. Give me a sec. Let me go to Blighted Village. Oh, whoops. I didn't mean to. Oh my god, dude. Dead tiefling. No, these are dead adventurers. Oh, I need to actually go to Moonrise Tower.
If not over.
Many hearts, one soul.
Thank the star.
Okay.
Ah, don't mind us.
And Talavi! Oh, I never even... Oh, shit. No, I never even did this part of the Moonrise Tower before. I guess I kind of missed out on, like, some exploration shit. I don't know if any of this matters, though. I guess we'll just come through it, because obviously there's never going to be like another point that'll do it, right? I've never even like properly crossed this bridge in this playthrough. It's kind of funny. Is there anything down here? Oh, sorry. A scrapwood shield, a belladonna, worth. Belladona's always worth.
But I want to get that Mercy up there. And if I land that, you know I'm going to be fucking screaming my head off. But, yeah, they just removed... Oh, they removed Satisfaction, him as a character. And you just have to do twice as much to get value. And I think that's what a lot of us hate as hog players. So we just resulted in flexing to others. Other tanks, should I say.
Yeah, this is where Overwatch has like two problems that I think are relatively unique. Is like one is that changes are very slow because there's like a lot of technical demands, I think, to changing a hero. I think in a different game it would be more straightforward to like change a hero's ability, because like a lot of the heroes are like the same model, just like the exterior is slightly different, and then you just change a thing and it looks different a little bit, right? Whereas in Overwatch, every character's model is unique. It's like a whole separate thing. And now if you're going to change one of his abilities, you have to like create someone has to go and animate a new thing, and has to have a visual design made before you can change it. And on top of that, just we've seen reworks all of it.
This is a lot of stuff. After the wearer dashes or takes a similar action, they can jump without using a bonus action. Oh. That's kind of cool, actually. It's not really... I feel like that's only good for, like, rogues. Because you have dash as a bonus action, and then now you can just, like, use jump after you use dash as a bonus action. It's kind of cool.
This are just like really slow to come out, right? They take months and months and months. And by the time the rework has come out, the state of what the thing was initially solving is gone. It's like, well, we're changing Hog now, but the season 2 meta where everyone hated him is gone, like, or whatever it was, season 2 or 3. That's long in the past already. So they probably need to think about that. Like, is there a way they can make that a little bit easier for themselves to actually address things more quickly? But then also, the other thing is that what we've spoken about a little bit is that hero fantasy thing, and the fact that people one-trick heroes a lot, right? And it's like, again, you think of a MOBA, okay, there's like 100 heroes. So like if let's say your hero's really bad or they may be reworking that hero, you're not going to lose your entire reason for playing the game, because there's 50 other heroes I can pick, and for a while that hero's out the equation. But with Overwatch, your hero goes into the dumpster, goes to the farm, as Flats put it. Like, your reason to play the game goes away. And Yeedle, I want to hear your thoughts on this. If you've kind of got any thoughts on Roadhog before we talk about Ball as well.
I think it basically just stems from like Roadhog being very easy to hard counter, whether it be like Orisa or Ana. And I think you could probably go the direction of making Roadhog a little bit less vulnerable to things like honestly nade or Orisa just hard countering his kit, which hypothetically, let's say for a second, like his vape gives him fortify and makes him anti-immune, just hypothetically, right? If you're gonna do that and you're gonna give him the one shot, then he's gonna have to lose a lot somewhere else, right? Maybe he sucks at the tank interaction, because I feel like one thing with Roadhog is that like he was really good at just putting tanks in a blender with the whole hog. So it's a lot of give or take, but I think I agree with Insulted that taking away the one shot may not have been the way to go. So that's basically
Salt, any reflection on sort of Roadhog with what everyone else has discussed?
Yeah, I agree with what Issa said, pretty much.
Yeah. Any words on Roadhog for the devs? Because I know the devs listen to these a lot. Any word for Roadhog before we move on? Talk about your boy, what you want.
Well, whatever they add, I hope it's good. I think they just need to not be afraid of constantly tweaking, because I don't know. I think it's just very frustrating. Most of the issue comes from support. I think that's where it is.
Oh, these guys are still here?
Thanks. We deal with a lot of issues because of support, but that's an entirely different subject. But Hog, I don't know. It's weird. It's either give him a good kill potential and allow him to be lackluster, because I like the play that I can, you know, one shot, but I still can get hard counted by Anna and Nade. I can play around that. That's fine. But then that's where I should be rewarded, right? I think they just, if the rework goes through and whatever it is, if it's not that great, please think about giving Hog his aggression back, or his threat, like his one shot. That's what I want to say.
Okay, fair enough. All right, then from one potential problem to the other potential problem, I'm going to take it to Ball next. Because Yeatle, you've already spoken about, you know, you've made a video on it, an excellent video. I think most people in the Norwich community have watched it. The fall of Ball, as it were. Describe the state of Wrecking Ball. If you can summarize that. I encourage anyone listening to go watch that video, but if you could summarize it and how you feel about Wrecking Ball, go right ahead.
A lot of people watch that video and they've come to the conclusion that I was saying Ball is the uber worst tank in the game. And I don't think that's entirely true. There's a lot of scenarios where when you're not getting countered, you could be the lobby admin. But I've been on both the receiving end and the giving end of I'm playing support. This Ball's doing a great job of running the lobby. Somebody goes Sombra and it's over. This game's free. It's the freest game ever. That's just one example, but I think what Ball really suffered from, that I personally am not enjoying him as much, is with the change from 2 tanks to 1 tank, there's a lot of just focus on him, right? This whole like setup and flank playstyle is a lot less viable. His playstyle is just one-dimensional, really. And so what I was saying is, I think another problem is like, if you want to go and dive the back line, if you don't have somebody else that dives with you.
What faction is this? Are these guys relevant? Am I gonna like fuck up a future quest by pick clocking this? I don't really care. That's fine. I don't fucking care, bro. Let's put the music on. Oh, I thought it was gonna blow up. Unlucky. Am I near any explosives? No, right? Yeah, I'm gonna be a psycho.
All right then.
Oh man, that barely did anything. I thought that thing was gonna blow up and then set off all the other ones. Yeah, I'm hungry, dude.
Let my name be known.
I didn't even see this guy. Really now.
Should mind my step. What's hiding here?
Oh, these guys just have the keys to these doors? Base. What's this button do? Okay. I'll take what I want. Okay, saved. Based. Oh, that's what's in here. It's the metal thing. I'll get this down. The wearer's summoned creature has resistance to all damage except psychic damage. At the start of the summoned creature's turn, it must succeed a wisdom saving throw or be driven mad. Oh god, that's so dumb. Dude, I don't know. I'm just not a fan of like high risk, high reward stuff where like the high risk is just like roll a dice. It's just like dumb to me. I wish it was like high risk, high reward in like I actually think reckless attack is a good example of like a high risk, high reward thing. Where it's like you increase your chance to hit the enemy and you also increase the chance that you get hit because you have disadvantage. You have advantage. Wait, do you get advantage? I think you get advantage on attack rolls, and then you get disadvantage on attack rolls that are against you. I think that's like a healthy, you know, way of going about it or whatever. Dude, my game is like so laggy. Holy shit. Okay. Where am I going? I'm gonna restart my game and see if it helps. Save successful. Okay, quick. Actually, I might even want to just take a break so I can eat. I think I'll take a break and come back later. Oh, I have to go on stream now.